And I'm Clarus. No, there's got to be a way to change this. Click the video button.
Orientation is locked.
On your phone is locked. That's why.
No, it's not.
And press it again. I don't know. This is great. We don't do phone stuff.
Apparently, we can only do this vertically. I don't know why YouTube changed that.
There's no way. What is this button? It's a camera button. What the fuck was that? It just turns off the camera. So useful. So useful, YouTube. Thank you for that.
All right, I guess this is a vertical video.
Gross.
I'm not going to wear this the whole time. Check out this jacket from Star Wars Celebration, though. Got like Mount Fuji there with the sakura blossoms. Other one, this purple motif. What's up, everybody? Welcome into a live spoiler chat.
Did you not edit the beginning of this video? Babe.
What?
It's like us adjusting ourselves.
I didn't notice.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways. All right, this is too hot. What's up, everybody? Welcome on in. Apparently this has to be vertical. Sorry about that. Nothing we can do about it.
That also means I can literally only see like 3 chats at a time, so.
Well, I hopefully can see more on my iPad.
We'll find out. How you guys doing? Good morning. I know it's not morning for you. Well, no, just move closer.
Well, you need to move closer to me. I can't. If I move closer, I'm crossing center. Good morning. We're going to be talking about the Wheel of Time today.
Wheel of Time.
Sorry about the confusion as we were figuring out. I think they broke streaming.
I guess so. I don't...
It's also weird. My phone doesn't say that, or my iPad doesn't say that we're live.
Wow. Well, my phone
but
did,
I can see that we are.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
How we doing? How's everybody? It's been a minute. We miss you. Yeah, no, I can't even see the chat from that far away.
I know.
Wow, this is a disaster. Why would they do this?
Thrak, 39 months. Thank you for being a narg of the Nerd Table.
Blue, thank you as well for 39 months. Let's go.
Crazy. Y'all are crazy. I can't even
read that. My stupid eyes. We do look live, yes. Can't wait to be asking, wait, they did what? Oh, yes, Blue hasn't seen the show yet. Blue didn't keep up. So this is going to be a ride.
Forgot about that.
For you specifically, I am so excited for this live stream. Arzu as well, also, I don't know how you're awake Arzu right now. Arzu as well, also, I don't know. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, that's at least better. So we're just going to have to share the...
Jules says, why is Clara serving face card in one of your videos? She looks like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think you're always serving face card, babe.
Thanks. I get that a lot.
Oh, and Martin Tracy up at the beginning. Welcome to the Nards of the Nerd Table.Hank you for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
Threk is at season 2, but they've read the book. That doesn't help you here, Threk.
This is going to be full spoilers.
Yeah.
For all books, all show. So.
Oh, that's a good point. No, let's do no. Let's do no book spoilers first.
How? What are we gonna say that we haven't already said?
Let's do 5 minutes of non-book spoiler review for people who are like, "What do you think of the whole season?"
Okay. All right. We can do 5 minutes. I think we can make it for 5 minutes.
Full season review, very quickly at the top here. I think that this season is such a drastic improvement over seasons 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
I think in almost every way, except acting, they have stepped forward. And I only say except acting because I think the acting across the show has generally been strong.
That's
I haven't really found the performances to be lacking at any point. And so the acting just didn't have a lot of up to go for me.
Yeah.
The people who have been crushing it the whole time. You know what? I actually, the only person I think who has improved a lot since season 1 is, I'm blanking on his name, Perrin, though. I thought that his performance this season was really riveting.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic. And I thought he brought a lot in a way that he didn't in season 1 and 2, but part of that was that I found his season 1 and 2's plots to be really lacking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's less, kind of less on him and more on like what his character was given.
Miro says Joshua was way better. I'm surprised you said. I thought Joshua was fantastic across all 3 seasons, really.
Yeah, again, though, I do think that by the time the season comes around, he's given more things to play as opposed to, like, innocent farm boy.
Yeah.
Right, and so I think that he did that well at the beginning, and he's also doing the more complex stuff well. So I think that really has to do with the complexity of his character at this point in the story. Because yeah, I do think he was also still great at the beginning. It's just a very different character.
No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, season 3, huge improvement. Really, like, the cinematography was exemplary a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I thought the way things were shot was such an improvement, particularly through the Ruidian stuff.
Yeah.
I was worried about this show in particular shooting the desert. Just because the cinematography of the first 2 seasons was not particularly interesting to me.
Yeah.
And lighting was inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that visually, the way they managed to capture the starkness of the Aiel Waste was really impressive.
Yeah.
And I greatly enjoyed that. The weaves look so good now.
Yeah.
Like, they have figured out what they want the magic system to look like.
Yes. And I liked it in the earlier seasons. You know, I think especially when Moraine, like, takes out the building in the Two Rivers.
Yeah, but that's, like, the only time I thought the magic looked good in season 1.
Yeah, but it just kind of showed me the potential for it. And they're really, like, able to showcase more and more. Because the one power is just kind of being used more. But I agree. I think that the visual effects have only gotten better and better and are, like, truly stunning in the season, especially in the finale. Some incredible moments between Lanfear and Moraine.
Yeah. You know, I think that this show still had some of its earlier season issues in terms of staging of scenes. In the first half of the season, I thought that they kind of gotten away from the just kind of, like, stagnant over the shoulder cuts. I found in the second half of the season, particularly episodes 5 and 6, they fell back into that. I think that's partially the directors of those 2 episodes. I know that 5 and 6 was the same director.
Gotcha.
And I just found, I unfortunately found their direction of the show to be weaker than the 6 episodes around that.
Yeah. I think we also had some variances in the fight choreography and how the fight scenes were shot.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were fantastic. Like, there were definitely some moments where I was like, oh damn, here we go. Like, we are stepping up the combat in this series. And then there were a couple moments that were a bit of a disappointment. So it's kind of been a little all over the map in terms of that, but definitely some, like, highlights that I just want to commend.
Yeah, and then in terms of the what we think of the show, like, I think that if you were to ask me about a lot of the individual scenes of the show, my answer to you would be really liked it. That scene was great. That scene was well done. I think that where I am, especially with rewatching the season for this live, not reacting, but just sitting and really watching it a second time, I really am struggling with the big picture of this show and the insinuations that scenes have for other scenes. And where I think the show is losing me is that I will watch a scene that I think is so good, and then when I really think about how it interacts with other scenes in the show, I find there to be a lot of problems logically or with consistency or just with just with geography, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's no plot line in the season that struggled more with that than the White Tower, right? The White Tower plotline this season is so all over the place. If you really look at it, not in the individual episode arcs, right, but in the season-long arc, the opening of the season is that there is this battle in the White Tower, right? The Black Aja is revealed, and this puts Swan in this very difficult position of having to keep this a secret.
Yeah.
And she successfully does that. She does. Like, the Reds are on her side in keeping that from Aleda. All of the members of the White Tower throughout the season will keep that secret for her. But then at the end of the season, without showing us any real flip in sentiments in the White Tower, there are all these people who are willing to go with the Reds against her. And the logic to me of everyone being on the Amerlin Seat's side in locking this secret down and in supporting her through this difficult time, but then though there only being like 10 people on her side at the end of the season, it doesn't track. There isn't a level of, like, intellectual connection in that plot line across season 1 through 8. And I think that it is a big problem with them doing the opening of season 3 with this big aplomb.
Yeah.
This big moment, this big fight, and then not having the rest of the dialogue of the season interact with that fight with the weight and the gravitas that moment deserved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And or with just the logic of how that moment interacts with the world around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the both of those scenes individually are great. The fight in the tower, like there's some moments in it that I think are shot a little wonky and it's edited too much, but all the fights are to me. But for the most part, the opening is pretty solid if you're just watching that scene on its own. And if you just watch the vote with Aleda and Swan at the end of the scene is great, right?
Yeah.
Like the acting of it is great. All of the costuming and lighting and the staging of the scene is great.
Yeah.
But those two scenes, the story between the two scenes in episode 1 and episode 8, don't connect them in a way that makes me understand the world.
Yeah. And I think that's why so many people are loving the show and loving the season. Because each individual moment in itself feels great. It's generally well shot, well acted, like all of those things. It's when you kind of take that step back and see how it's all going to fit together that things become a little wonky. I do think as well, I want to shout out, Arzu said that it was too much stabbing and shooting of people and not enough like consequences
Oh, yeah, 100%.
for that, right? And I think there was a little bit too much blood at some points as well. Like they kind of like really leaned into the violence, but just for the sake of like gore and not for the sake of consequences for the characters.
Well, and to that end, in the chat here, I scrolled away from it a little bit. So Erudite Gaming brings up a moment that I think really doesn't make sense to me in the larger season, but is a great scene. They say, I feel like Leanne and Swan saving Aleda from the Gray Man seemed like they would change their dynamic and how the coup happens, but it seems like they just completely ignored that. This is what I'm talking about, right? That scene with Aleda and the Black Aja is actually good, right? It's a good scene.
Yeah.
But unless the show's implication is that Aleda is a dark friend, it doesn't really track that. It's not even that it tracks. That scene has no implication on the show.
Yeah.
It is just a scene. It just happens, and it changes nothing. It's never brought up again. Leda killing the Black Aja while they're chained, or not chained, but while they're helpless, is not. There's no consequence on either side. It's just a scene that happens.
Yeah.
And then the characters walk away from that with the exact same motivation for every other scene as if that scene didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's where the show, I think, kind of loses momentum sometimes, is that I'm like, oh, you've made this cool change. Aleda was saved by Swan. How does she respond to that?
Yeah.
And the show's answer is, wait, Aleda was saved by Swan?
Yeah.
No. That was in episode 5. This is episode 6. This is a different show now.
Yeah, and I think maybe if we were to boil that down, I think that it comes to time, which is really just like unfortunate. I think that there are moments where they've added things that are unnecessary, where they could have spent that time on other stuff. But I do think that this show suffers a little bit from not having enough episodes to really establish the scale of things, the connective tissue between the effects of one thing impacting another thing or a part of the world or another character or whatever it is. It does feel like we kind of jump from scene to scene to scene to scene, and it feels like the team doesn't feel like they have the time to spend on the getting there. And to me, like the real like juicy bits and how it all connects to one another feels like they're like, well, we gotta hit this beat, and then we gotta hit this beat, and we only have 8 episodes. And I feel like that is just something that boils down to the amount of time that they have on air, and
yeah.
that sucks, man. Like that's so sad that it is kind of the state of streaming television that is a hindrance to this show.
I hear you on that a little bit, but so to just to like get the chat's pushback on what we just said, right? People are saying Aleda says you led me here, which is fine, right? That's fine, but they saved you from the Gray Man, right? And so either like the you led me here to the Black Aja, right, is true, But that also means that Aleda is implying that Swan tried to have her killed by something that Swan saved her from.
Right.
Like, the logic of that is not logically consistent with what these characters are doing. And it doesn't change the trajectory of anything else. So Aleda isn't more against Swan after that moment than she was before. She's not less against Swan after that. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And this is where people are like, well, they only have 8 episodes. But they're also wasting a lot of time.
Well, and that's why
they waste a ton of time in the show on random plot lines that
is
don't
why
go anywhere.
I prefaced at the beginning, like, there are some things that they've added in that I don't think were the right choice in terms of time management for the show. But that is what it is. They clearly have something else that they are trying to do that I don't really see the vision for it yet. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. And so the show is so interesting to me because there's so much that I love about it and so much that frustrates me about it, which is why I think all of our Wheel of Time videos are so long, because there is so much to talk about and, like, really deep dive into, even though we don't always do that. Like, sometimes our reactions, we talk for like 10 minutes afterwards, and some of our Wheel of Time reactions, we've talked for like 45 minutes or an hour afterwards. And so it's been kind of a struggle to try and understand the choices that they've made.
and I think that there's some of the plot lines this season that, again, I think are great scenes that I'm not sure why we spent the time on them.
Yeah.
A lot of them are cold opens to me. This season, I thought the Leandrin cold open about her as a child was completely unnecessary.
We already knew.
We knew. And, I didn't need the backstory of how Leandrin got her very special bullet weave.
Yeah.
Because
she doesn't even use it to kill Nynaeve.
Unless the show is setting up that they're going to do drastically different things with Leandrin.
Yeah.
She's just not that important a character.
Well, and that's
Matt is an important character.
Yeah, let's spend more time with our main characters. Here's the thing. I do appreciate trying to flesh out villains. I think villains are the weaker part of the books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think we are maybe taking it a little bit too far at the detriment of our main characters.
Yeah.
Erudite Gaming, I need to touch on this. They're like, this might be a tiny unrelated nitpick, but it takes so long for Rand to cause the rain and all those people are just watching him do an interpretive dance. That was my first thought. No one can see the weaves, and so Rand's just like, and you're like,
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Like,
I think that there are a few moments where they were like, we have a really cool special effect, and so it's going to take a while. In the Lanfear Moraine moment, there's an awful shot where Moraine starts to pull the sword out of her chest, and Lanfear's like, oh, just doing nothing. Literally on screen, like, oh, and it's so baffling. It's so baffling to watch Lanfear just do nothing for it goes on. We watched it again last night for this live, and we were both like, God, the fight between Lanfear and Moraine is so good. It genuinely, like, so much of that fight, that Lanfear's like pop weave is so cool visually.
When she's flying and shielding against, there's some really incredible moments in there.
Really cool stuff. And then there's just that one shot where Moraine is just like, it kind of felt like watching like Dragon Ball Z, where you're like, why is Frieza letting Goku charge up? These characters move at the speed of light. Why is he just floating there going, Kakarot? So there's a few moments like that. But honestly, like the Rand bringing the rain scene really worked for me. It's such a weird way to end the season, in my opinion.
The final shot was such a weird thing. Like, I would have appreciated a couple beats more. But it felt like their attempt to try and leave off on some kind of cliffhanger that's like, wasn't really a cliffhanger. I don't know.
Yeah.
That the literal, like, final shot was a little strange, I think. But
can I bring up, okay, so in terms of plot lines that I really liked visually, but felt like wasted time, right? Samael is so, like, I understand they wanted to get the girl dying resurrection attempt thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that they wanted to get to there, but to waste so much time on setting up that Rand's gonna have a teacher, and so Lanfear sent Samael to do this, and
then he dies immediately.
And then he just dies in a scene that like straight up just breaks the logic of the show. Because
Yeah.
the whole reason
Blue's probably sitting there like, what the fuck?
the whole reason Lanfear was like, yeah, go to the Isle Waste earlier in the season was she's like, yeah, I don't want the other Forsaken to be able to find you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep you away from them. And so the idea that the Forsaken can just find Samael in this secret cave and kill him, and then it just doesn't, it's like, but the whole point of him going here was that the Forsaken didn't know that he was here. So like, what?
Oh, but they all know exactly
but they
where
all
he
can
is.
find Samael immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You've
Lanfear, I could
you
understand.
established an idea at the beginning of the season that you didn't pay off. How did Mogideon find Samael?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, but if the Forsaken can just find people, then Lanfear's whole like, well, we need to keep them from finding you is just her saying shit.
Yeah.
And there's so much in the show that you can be like, well, that's just a character saying shit. But I'm like, that's the world building of your show. The way you explain the show is the world building of the show.
Yeah.
And then you get these moments where, like, Moraine is like, hey, Samael, I tied off a shield on you. And he's like, ugh, in physical pain. And I'm like, we just watched a whole season of Moraine having a shield tied off on her. You need to explain what else Moraine did to him.
Right.
And because Mogideon comes in and she's like, you have a shield on you. And I'm like, but it has to be more than that.
Yeah, but he's also, like, completely immobile.
Yeah. And the show just doesn't want to... The show just wants a shield to be a different thing each time we see it.
Yeah.
Shields in the show are never consistent.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to get into them because every single time we've seen a shield in the show, I swear it works differently.
Yeah.
And the show will never explain it.
Yeah.
And so you just have to move on from it. But this whole Samael thing felt like wasted time to be very confusing, and I didn't enjoy it.
Some people are saying that Samael is not dead, but I can't believe that to be true because Lanfear and Robin show up and are like, oh, wow, yeah, Mogideon really got to him. At least she left enough of him for us to tell who it is. But then, which makes it sound like he is deceased.
But then why spend time on it this way?
No, that's what I...
This is what I mean about wasting time. Then what was the point of that scene?
Yeah.
Just to have a creepy blood thing and then next season he's just back? Like,
if he's dead, it is wasted time. If he's not dead, it is also kind of wasted time.
Yeah.
Like, the Chosen cannot die. Mogideon literally says, I'm about to figure out how to kill a Chosen. And then she rips out all of his innards. I'm assuming, based on that conversation, that she figured out how to kill a Chosen. Like, that is what that seems like. That is what the setup of that is like, especially because Lanfear and Robin come in and confirm it.
And if not, then it's just to...
And then if not, then it is, again, just wasted time for, like, a gory visual effect.
And to not have Rand have a teacher. If he's not dead... Yeah. Then why do it?
Yeah.
Just so that we can fight him again? He wasn't a scary threat the first time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the show established that he was a threat to Rand at all.
Samael
he only kind of was...
actually Moradin.
Well, but he was only kind of a threat in the show. We're still doing non-book spoilers.
It's fine. That is out of context. You can't understand what that means.
Samael wasn't a threat the first time. So if you want to bring him back for a second fight, don't have Rand only be in danger because he's fucking asleep.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as Rand is standing up, he punks the shit out of Samael.
Yeah. Threk actually brings up a good point. Is there no balefire in the show? There is.
There is. No, there is.
Which is, again, why Mogideon being like, I'm going to figure out how to kill a Forsaken doesn't really make sense because, like, she knows that balefire exists because she's seen the rod that the one girl has that shoots balefire.
No, but they have also, like, there's no balefire in the Age of Legends, apparently, in the show.
No, but Mogideon...
No, there has to be because...
There is. They ripped the world apart.
Is.
Yeah, they ripped the world apart with it. Sorry, that is spoilers. Sorry, that...
It's not really spoilers.
Kind of, sorry, out of context. But no, Mogideon literally sees that girl playing with the rod that shoots balefire.
Yeah,
she knows what it is.
She says it's balefire.
She knows what it does. No, Leandrin says it's balefire. Yeah. But that's like Mogideon is present in that house. She knows that rod is there. So her being like, I need to figure out how to kill a Chosen implies that balefire cannot kill one of the Chosen anymore. So big question mark there, Threk. I have no idea where they're going with that.
Yeah, that is it. God, I didn't even think about that. They've kind of established that they don't know the danger of balefire.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's so weird.
Yeah.
But again, these are the implication things, right? Like Swan so let's get to Swan's monologue really quick.
Yeah.
Because I think Swan's monologue is pretty well delivered, right? Sophie Okonedo crushes the shit out of the dialogue.
Huge shout out. shout like, oh my god. Blue, if you wanna see some incredible acting without like watching the whole show and you wanna just watch her speech, it is phenomenal. So good.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. And
it just doesn't fit because she gives this monologue as if she was a great Amerlin, and she wasn't.
well,
And
we as show watchers don't really know that.
No, but she was terrible at her job.
We
Like,
know
kind
that
of
as
across the board.
book readers.
I mean, Kyrian burned down because of her because like literally in front of her.
Look, I don't think we get to see enough.
Look, we see enough. She's not good at her job.
Yeah.
The fact that the season plays out the way that it does is proof that she's not good at her job.
I mean, she was only there because of the prophecy anyways, and so it was kind of like, well, shit, I had to take this job that maybe I'm not going to be the best at because I'm the one of only 2 people in the world that knows that the dragon is reborn and that we're going to have to figure out some shit.
So Swan gets this really killer monologue that is interesting in that it is the show has essentially made Aleda a wildly uninteresting character.
Yeah.
And it really is unfortunate to me, right? I think that one of the things that I liked about Aleda in the books, mild book spoilers, but not really, just Aleda's motivation, right? Aleda, doesn't get her foretelling from the Eilfin in the books.
Yeah.
Or Eilfin. I think they've consumed them into one thing.
I'm still unclear on that as to whether or not, that's where she got the tellings from.
No, she does, because she, if you watch in the show, she gets out of the red door, and then she looks at her bracelet.
Yeah.
And the show zooms in on her bracelet the same way that it zooms in on the medallion on Matt after the red door.
Sure, but that bracelet, but that doesn't mean that the foretellings come from the bracelet.
All right. Okay, sure.
I just don't think
Book Aleda, because of her foretelling, genuinely thinks she's doing the right thing.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
She genuinely thinks that the foretellings are causing her to think that she is acting for the good of things.
Yeah.
And the show version is that, do you want to do this?
Sure.
The show version is that Aleda was promised the Amerlin seat by the Eilfin, and she's fucking petty about not getting it.
Yeah.
And it's just so much less interesting.
Yeah.
And so Swan's final monologue is, Aleda, you fucking suck, and I can't believe anyone's following you.
Yeah.
And it's not like this impassioned, it is impassioned, obviously, because she's been beat to shit for some reason that I really don't understand why she's been beat to shit.
Yeah.
They drag her from the room, beat the shit out of her, bring her back to the room, and then kill her. I don't really understand the Aes Sedai's. I don't know. I don't get it.
Aleda says that she has questions for her, so But
she didn't question her.
No, she did. We just didn't see her. And then she drags her before the hall and is like, just tell us the truth, because I'm assuming Swan didn't tell her what she wanted to hear. Aleda straight up tortured her. No, Aleda straight up just tortured her. Yeah, I don't know. I think that as powerful as the performances were in that section and really moving genuinely, I think that killing off Swan in the way that they did is a huge disappointment to me.
Yeah.
This is when she becomes interesting in the books.
Yeah. All of my favorite Swan stuff is after this moment in the books.
And so to take that away from her and to take that away from such an incredible actress is so disappointing.
Well, and here's the thing. I've heard all the comments that are like, well, Sofia Canedo didn't want to. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. Didn't want to do more, and I'm like, then don't cast her. If someone only wants to do 3 seasons, find that out before you start, and don't cast them. I think she's phenomenal as Swan.
Yeah.
But why? If you are planning on doing an 8-season show, contract people for 7. That is the typical television contract that we've been doing forever. If you want to know why leads on shows typically leave after season 7 on network TV, it's because that's when the fucking contract's up.
Yeah.
The idea that you're well, we could have gotten an actress that would stick around, but we really like Sophie, so we're changing the plot of the Wheel of Time because she doesn't want to do it anymore, is not a comfort to me. I'm not well, I'll give the show a pass because you cast someone who didn't want to do more.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's not an excuse to me.
Yeah.
And look, I'm glad she crushed it. I think Sophie, like, I think they wrote shit for Swan in season 2. But I think that in season 1 and season 3, there's a lot of great Swan stuff. I think that Sophie, even in the stuff I don't like in season 2 for her, I think she crushed the acting of it.
She performed it incredibly, yeah.
I think that she was never the problem. But, like, if you knew from the beginning she didn't want to be here for long,
Arzu also says
find someone else.
Arzu also says there is literally a lore reason they could have recast her.
Literally. There is literally... What? But no, because then they would have to do that. Then they would have to start explaining stuff and...
But no, that would have been perfect. Mm-hmm. Like, if... Okay, we're now into book spoilers, I think.
Can we just... Okay, no, final thoughts. Okay. Final... Pre-book spoilers. Wow, did they improve? Like, genuinely, I didn't think it was possible for a show to take... I wanted them to take some steps forward. They leaped. They leaped forward in so many ways.
Especially Ruidian.
Ruidian was amazing. Honestly, episodes 2 through 5
incredible.
Were really strong. The Wheel of Time consistently is at its strongest in the middle of the season, and it really struggles to get going and it really struggles to finish. Yeah. But the middle of these seasons, man, there's great stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, fucking stop with Egwene. Just stop fucking with this character. She was the best part of season 2. I cannot believe how bad her season 3 stuff was.
Yeah.
Please, please, please never talk about her and Rand dating ever again, and just get this character out of this shit plot, like CW-ass plotline that you've put her into, that is just manufactured for her to do less this season, except to, like, stare at Rand while he acts. I'm genuinely so disappointed in the Egwene stuff that was written for her, because I think Madeline is one of my favorite castings on the show. She's such a winning actress. The season 2 stuff, it was like, she was like one of the few things about season 2 that I look in a rewatch, I'm like, this is actually so good.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about season 3, and it's because they were like, well, she is upset.
She's the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
in a bad way. Or she's a girlfriend, or she's getting really good at dream stuff really fast off screen for some reason.
Yeah.
Like the connection between those two, very unfortunate for Egwene in my opinion, but huge steps forward to everyone else. And for Nynaeve, thank God the block is over, because like it's God that the show really didn't know what to do with her.
Yes, I'm very grateful for that. And the moment was good. The nod to like drowning was it was great. I love how they did it. Except for like the final moment where she doesn't immediately go try and find Lanfear Leandrin, because she knows where Leandrin lives.
Oh, the end of Tenchiko's fucking insane.
It is so weird and
it's
so rushed.
Stupid.
Again, the scene was great, but Nynaeve, she has the collar. Nynaeve should be like chasing her down. She knows the house. She knows where they live. She knows where she's gonna go, and they don't even bother.
Well, yeah. First of all, Nynaeve is the one that's like, don't wait, go. Mm-hmm. Second of all, Nynaeve is, yes, waiting for everyone, but if you watch the scene, it cuts to Nynaeve. She is standing with her back to the door where the Temple of the Black Aja is. Not the Temple of the Black Aja, but you know what I mean, like the Panarch's Palace.
Where all the bad guys
She's waiting for people to come out of it, where she knows Leandra and all the bad guys are, and her back is literally to the door.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, hide. Like, it's not even on a level of, like, okay, Nynaeve is the motherly one, so she stayed. Mm-hmm. It's that she stayed in such a dumb way. Like, if she had just hid around the corner and watched the door, then Leandra would have left.
Yeah.
But instead, Nynaeve is standing out in the open, holding the most dangerous magical artifact they know about.
Yeah.
With her back to the door. Like, if Leandra had just been like, boop, Nynaeve would have just died and not even known who hit her.
Yeah.
And so the scene after that is really good, and their conversation is good, and it's a little contrived that Leandrin doesn't just kill her immediately with her special power, like her bullet weave that she invented as a child. It's a little contrived that she's like, I'm gonna kill the strongest channel in 1,000 years, and then throws her into the ocean.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. But the setup of that scene with Nynaeve having her back to the door was just like, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, guys, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I would love if the setup had been better of like, oh my god, I don't know if I can leave them behind. But if your friends are inside there, you are watching like a fucking hawk for them to come out of that door. You're not casually back turned.
Yeah.
Knowing that like there's very dangerous people all around. Like Nynaeve was like.
Well, and they say there might be a Forsaken.
Yeah, literally.
Like Nynaeve is like the only person who could have done this
chilling.
memory shit to us is a Forsaken.
Yeah.
And so she's got her back turned on the idea of the Forsaken.
Yeah.
Which is just it's those like casual things where you're like, these characters are idiots.
She could have been hiding. She should have been watching the door. There should have been something other than.
She should have had a weapon because she knows she can't weave.
Right. Yeah.
She should have been holding a fucking like dagger or something.
And again, it's so strange because the middle of that scene is so fucking good. It's so goddamn good.
And the CGI of her breaking the wave.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mwah, chef's kiss. Incredible. But the beginning and the end, the connective tissue of it is just so underbaked.
Well, and can we talk about the end of the episode, leaving Tenchiko? So the premise of this is that they go to the Panarch's palace. They look for the collar. Nynaeve finds the collar. She knows that Leandrin gets it. And then she can channel now, and they just get on a boat? Like, when Rand is... is it Rand that has the final monologue, or is it Moraine?
Monologue?
But yeah, there's the final monologue. No, it's Rand.
No, the last moment is Egwene being like, Rand, let go.
No, but before that, when they're doing the cuts to everybody, like, around the world. Swan's monologue. They cut to them just on the boat leaving Tenchiko. And you're like, wait a second.
And Matt doesn't even have the spear.
Matt doesn't have the spear, which is stuck in the right door. I actually, watching it the second time, seeing the spear stuck in the door was pretty cool. I wish that he'd grabbed it, or like, I wish they'd...
It should have been on the boat shot, but that's whatever.
But
it's a Moraine voiceover is the last monologue. That's my bad. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you were right.
They're just on a boat going where? Like the epilogue part of this episode doesn't establish anything in terms of like why these characters left Tenchiko,
where they're going.
Fael, Bane, and Chad are following the White Cloak Army somewhere.
Yeah, well,
like
I don't know.
But my point is that like they showed us shots of these characters just in places.
Yeah.
That don't seem to be all that relevant to like anything. And I think that part of it is so that they can just do whatever I think they have no idea what they're going to do in season 4. And I think that the reason why the epilogue of this episode is so why there is literally nothing explicit in it. There is nothing definitive about the end of the season.
Yeah.
Not one thing, right? Other than Moghedien has the collar.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not a single next step that is established for anybody.
Yeah.
The Tenchiko kids have no discernible plan moving forward.
Yeah.
The Perrin Fael stuff can go in it's not that they're like, we've got to, they're heading east. There's no directions. There's no anything, right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is that they're like, we got to our season 3 plan. We don't really have the strongest plan moving forward.
Yeah.
And so we're going to leave ourselves the most open-ended possible thing so that we can take these characters anywhere next season and
like
we're not stuck on anything.
They could be chasing Lanfear. They could be going to Tyr. They could be going to Camelin to save Morghast. They could be going back to the White Tower. Genuinely have no idea where our crew is headed. There's nothing to infer. And like, if you don't want to definitively set it, at least like give clues for fans to speculate. But I don't think they dropped anything.
Well, but like Lanfear is alive, maybe.
Yeah.
Moraine is alive, even though she was run through with a power rot sword, and that can't be healed, right?
Yeah.
That people are saying that Elaine has Andor, which like kind of, but that's not the direction that boat can go.
Well, exactly.
Like
the boat can't go
can't
there.
take them to Andor.
Yeah.
So like.
And Tom isn't there on the boat, I don't think, either.
No, he is. Tom's with them.
Is he?
Yeah, Tom's with them.
Okay, I definitely missed Tom on the boat. That's my bad.
Isn't he? Is Tom not on the boat?
Oh,
shit, wait.
Didn't see him. No idea.
Okay, say interesting things. I'm gonna...
Interesting things.
Very funny.
No, he's not in the shot. Okay, so we had no Ashandarai and no Tom in that shot leaving, unfortunately.
Wait, why the fuck isn't Tom on the boat?
Maybe Tom goes on a solo mission to save more gays. I don't know. I just think that
that's
if that's your
really interesting that he's not with them.
Final shot, you should leave like things for the audience to figure out what's like the Ashandarai at least should be there. I don't know. I guess we're leaving Tom behind again.
I don't know where
Threk, when there is the Ashandarai, because that's what Matt was hanging off of, but in the final shot of him in the season, he's not holding it and it's not there.
Well, no, he doesn't grab it when they leave the room.
Well, and we don't see him grab it. So it's unfortunately like a weirdly missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And the dagger, still missing. No idea where the dagger is. Joe White, thank you for being a Nerds Radiant for 23 months. Tom is not on the boat, but the knife is. Is it though?
Wait, the knife is on the boat?
No, it's not. It's not.
I
think he's making a joke because they literally just forgot about the poison, not poison dagger, but like the very, 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 very dangerous dagger. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting.
But again, I genuinely think it's because they were like, hey, like we don't have a plan. Like we don't know what the next season is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, okay, here I think I found it.
Oh, some people are saying like the actor wasn't available for that shot, but like
again, you guys, like put somebody in a fucking hat.
Yeah.
It's
dark enough. It doesn't even have to be the actor.
It's a 4-second shot.
Yeah.
You can have someone in his outfit hanging off the boat. He doesn't have any dialogue.
Is that? No, that's you. Or
no, it's not.
Weird. Okay. Elaine Naive. Oh, that needs to go away. Thing on the side. How do we get that?
I don't think we can. Oh, there we go.
Matt, Min. That's it.
Yeah, it's just the 4 of them.
Yeah.
But like they're from behind. They're literally from behind.
You could have had
someone leaning over the fucking edge of the boat. Like there's ways to do things.
Yeah.
All right, full book spoilers. That's our review. Obviously, like we enjoyed things, but we didn't. I think the show is.
Okay, give this season
better.
an out of 10. It's
7.
It's tough. Okay, I would give it an 8.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think that the cinematography improved so much. There were some great fight scenes. The acting has been stellar across the board.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see improvements. So I'm gonna give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10.
But I gave season 2 a 5. So like that's a full 2-point bump to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we did not love season 2. That's fine. Excuse me. I mean, I'm gonna go like 75% out of 100 seems good to me because there are definitely some like issues that I have like questions about, but the quality of the show has really jumped up. So those I'm gonna give that bump to the quality, and as a like I hope they figure shit out.
Benjamin by Day says Daniel Green speculates that the show is flipping the order. The show is adapting books 3 and 4. That's not possible.
What?
Like you can't adapt book 3 anymore. There's nothing. The only character for whom that makes any sense is Rand.
Yeah.
And I guess the girls. Okay, we're in full book spoilers. Full book spoilers. You can kind of do that with like the girls fighting the Black Aja in Tyr and getting locked up and Matt having to save them. Like that moment from book 3 you can steal.
Sure.
But other than that, like Perrin is already making out with Fael. Like so much of Perrin's book 3 plot is just walking through Ilion with Moiraine, meeting Fael and getting to Tyr, right?
Yeah, Arizu has the same thought that we did. Is I was like, I think that the Shaido are going to go to Tyr.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think that that's what they're gonna have to do.
The geography that is like Rings of Power season 2 being like this army of orcs got all the way to fucking.
Well, have we established where Tyr is? Does anyone have a map?
Well, I know, and I look. Here's the thing. I get that they deleted the map.
Yeah.
But at the point where you're like, well, we deleted the map off of the wiki, and so we don't have to worry about where things are, is really bad writing.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like at the point where you're like, well, it doesn't really make sense if you look at a map, but we're just gonna not look at maps is like, look, and here's the thing. You can't like you can't dislike Game of Thrones season 8
and then
and say that Wheel of Time does a great job of getting people around the country.
Yeah.
Like, if you are one of those people who fucking hates Game of Thrones season 8 because they teleport people around the country, then you can't say that Wheel of Time does it better. Like, that, especially if they go to Tyr next season.
Yeah.
If the fucking Aiel march through multiple countries to get to Tyr and no one tries to stop them.
Well, it's probably
insane.
the Aiel. They're like, oh shit, it's the Aiel, and they're just gonna fucking lock their doors.
Blind Fool, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much. Given that you're changing a lot in the show, and you didn't like the ending of the series in the books, what is your dream ending to the Wheel of Time you think they should go for?
Oh, that's really interesting.
Good question. Good fucking question. Okay.
I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to change much. They just need to. Honestly, the show has a much stronger case for the thematic ending of the books.
True.
Right? Like
because we don't see random weddings because of the Taviran and like the people not having like free will.
Well, but not even just like that. I mean, for our main characters, like we haven't yet seen them pull the like Matt doesn't want to go, but the wheel makes him sick and so he has to. Right? Like on a base level, the idea that Rand beats the Dark One because human choice
have free choice
is just it's just not true.
Hilarious.
And so it rings so flat in the books, but you could actually pull that off in the show by just never leaning into those Taviran bullshit things in the show, which they haven't.
I would be happy with. I just re-listened to the part where Matt is like, I literally can't leave. I can't even say that I want to leave, even though I want to leave because the wheel is doing the wheel shit. So when you get to the very epilogue of the book, and not the epilogue yet, the final battle, and Rand is like, it's all about people having the freedom to choose, and I'm like, nobody has the freedom to choose except for like a few specific people. I think that actually them dropping that makes the ending of the book stronger. So if that's the ending that we're heading towards, I'm okay with that. I think that also you cannot have Rand abandon his children and family.
You cut the pipe. You cut all that. You cut everything that happens in the
epilogue.
Honestly,
the epilogue, don't need it, and then I'm good. I'm good.
But they've already made a stronger case for the thematic finale of the books in the show with the Melhindra death.
True.
Right.
Yes.
Like Melhindra choosing to Melhindra choosing to pull her soul out of the pattern in order to
save Malkier.
Yeah, to keep the dream of Malkier alive.
Yeah.
Is a stronger like choice for the themes of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time than any character decision in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, weirdly, right?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think that scene leans so much into the end of the book series in a way that I really loved. Like, I thought the Melhindra scene was great. I love the idea that there are legitimate consequences for breaking dark oaths.
And
because there's consequences for breaking light oaths.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that we, were convinced because of that scene. Because when the Melhindra stuff was unfolding in the show, we were kind of like, this is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about this. And they fucking pulled it off. Kudos, all the credit. Like that, I commend you. You had me. Well done. Keep that gold star.
And I think I genuinely think that I think that would be like the kind of thing that Robert Jordan would love about the show.
Yes.
Because I loved it. I thought it was such a strong scene. I wish the scene, if you're going to change things, I wish the changes felt like they were thematically resonant like that in really strong ways. Mm-hmm. There are so many changes in the show that they just seem so arbitrary and they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But that one, it was like, oh no, we have a purpose. Because at the beginning of the season, I was the person who was like, I don't know that I like making the Valkyrie a dark friend.
Yeah.
I straight up said that because I was like, oh, this is like...
Yeah.
The whole concept of like the dark friends can be anywhere, including among the Aiel, is a really interesting concept, and like you're kind of losing that. And I think that they lost an interesting concept, but actually leaned into a more interesting concept that was more in line with, I think, Robert Jordan's idea for the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And in that world, I genuinely, it's my favorite season from the whole season.
Yeah.
I think the Melhindra thing is such a brilliant way to adapt an idea of the books.
Yeah.
Change it, but still lean into like what I think the book was trying to be about.
I also think that in terms of the ending, if you get rid of Padan Fain earlier and he is not in like the final battle, I would also be okay with that. I think that we can deal with him with before we get to the end, because at the end there's not really much there to use. And I think that he can be a fun villain before we get to the big bad, right? Which is the dark one.
BBS asks, do you think Asmodean will just be cut completely from the story? Also, what Forsaken do you guys want to see most in future seasons?
Everyone keeps saying that there's a statue of a Forsaken with the loot or something.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think that Asmodean's going to be there, because there is an 8th Forsaken that we have not met yet. So it could be Asmodean, especially because they killed Samael. But I
just think it's so weird to, like,
I don't understand the fake out with
twice.
Samael. Yeah. So I kind of do think that it is Asmodean.
Yeah.
Which I would be excited to see, because there is a lot that you can do with that character, like lean into that, like almost like cowardice and that self-preservation. But I don't know. I'm like, who am I most interested to see? I
think like I think that I really don't know what they're gonna do with Graendal. But
yeah,
I do think that if the show introduced, because I know that the things went around about Rafe saying that he wants Lizzo to be Graendal, and I think if the only Forsaken on the show who is black is the hypersexualized rapist,
well,
and
also
then
Robin, but yeah.
Sure, yeah. No, that's fair.
But Robin's also
a person of color. But like, yeah, I think that if you introduce, but I was talking about the women. But
yeah,
if you introduce Graendal as a magical rapist, and then you introduce Tuon being black as a slaver, I think the show, because look, we brought up the colorism and like the weird kind of racial. It's because here's the thing, I genuinely think that Rafe is woke as fuck. Right?
Yeah, I just think he's not thinking about it.
I don't think that, I don't think that they're, like, intentionally doing weird race shit, but I do think the show is unintentionally, and maybe subconsciously, or just accidentally, really making racial conversations weird around the show in unnecessary ways. And sometimes it feels like it's intentional, and sometimes it feels like it's not, and it's hard to separate those things. But if Graendal and Tuon are introduced in the same season as two black women who enslave other women, and I don't know, man. I think that that's gonna be real weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you get around that in any way. I think that a show that doesn't have the history of people being like, hey, you're kind of fucking around with black people in a weird way, could get away with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think this show can. I just think there's too many videos of people being like, what's going on with the black people? Because this season alone, right? Like Ivan.
I
still think his name is Ivan. Ivan, Loyal, Valda, and Swan are four black characters whose book plots are not done.
Yeah.
Who all die this season. And
yeah. We're only bringing up the Graendal thing because apparently Rafe said Lizzo as Graendal or something. I don't.
Yeah, no. He said on an Instagram story.
That's the only reason.
He said he wanted Lizzo to be Graendal.
We're bringing up that we're like, hey, maybe that's fucking weird. Because you're right. In the books, she is not a person of color. She's like a fucking blonde, like bombshell.
No. I know that. I'm saying that because he was like, I want Lizzo. I was like, oh no, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
No.
I think that would be a weird. I think that'd be a weird choice. But
yeah,
I would really love to see Asmodean. Like I think that the problem with the Forsaken is they're all kind of the same, except for Lanfear and Asmodean. They're the two that kind of. They're not like evil. They're not. I mean, obviously they are in a way, but they're not like. They're the two that stand out to me. A Shomo Gideon stands out. Honestly, if they're gonna be as interesting as Shomo Gideon is, we don't talk about her enough because she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
But like she does a lot of things this season, but they're weirdly like effective. Mogideon's actions this season are creepier and tone setting and like really scary in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she definitely.
Except in their impact on main characters.
Yeah, they are building up Mogideon to be more of a threat than she is in the books.
Yeah.
And I do like that direction they are taking with her. And I do love that Leandrin's straight up like, you're the weakest of the Forsaken. And she's like,
yeah.
Like, that was great. But, yeah, in terms of her actions, she's kind of just been hanging out with Leandrin all season. And then, obviously, she got the cuff, for the bracelet from the girls and compelled them. I'm kind of hoping that if the girls can have their memories restored, like, if they can, like, figure that out, Elaine or Nynaeve being able to, like, figure out the compulsion weave would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because they've kind of taken away... They've taken away, unfortunately, the stuff that makes Nynaeve interesting. Because now Nynaeve cannot heal Swan Stilling.
That's not the only thing interesting about her, but...
No, the interesting thing about Nynaeve...
Yeah, but she heals Logain first. Like, the first person she heals is Logain, so it's not like...
But it doesn't work as well, right? Or no, it's Swan that it doesn't work as well. She's weaker.
Yeah, so if a man heals a woman, it's better. Right. But if a woman heals a woman, it's not as good.
I just think that... Yes, Nynaeve is the most powerful channeler, and that's cool and all. But really what makes her interesting is her ability to figure out the healing stuff and really dive into that. And so having the girls, like, fully heal Alana in the way that they did, I think takes that away from Nynaeve. I think that taking away the Swan possibly having Stilling be healed by is just less interesting. And I'm a little disappointed in those choices because I think Nynaeve is so much more than the most powerful channeler of our time, right? But it seems that that's just kind of what they're leaning into, and not that she's incredibly gifted at magical healing as well.
There are a couple of questions in the Discord that we said we were going to get to, so let's get to those now so that those people don't feel like we forgot about them. Where is the question?
I'm not gonna lie. I did hope that they would keep a bit of the healing complexity in the show, which seems like they are absolutely not interested.
No, at this point, anyone can heal anything. Like if the girls can heal 11,
can knit together. Can probably heal broken bones, knit together ligaments and muscles and skin. Like, I think that it is a little disappointing what they've decided to do.
So John asks the first question here. He says, asks, there have clearly been things you liked and things you didn't with the show. I think that's fair to say.
Absolutely.
If you're in charge, would you renew for season 4?
Yes, because season 3 was such a huge step up. I think that for me is a reason enough to keep the momentum moving and the show moving forward. Because if season 3 was such a leap from 1 and 2, then I think the potential is there for them to just get better. I don't know how much the show costs and how much it brings in. So unfortunately, I can't talk from like a producing side of things. I can only speak for the quality that I have seen on the screen. And because they've been able to improve, I would say yes.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
It's a tough question to me. I wouldn't, probably. Not because of quality, because I do think the quality's improved, but financially, I don't think that this show makes a lot of sense. And based on the audience metrics I've seen, the show needs to get more expensive, and the audience is not growing. And I do think that after seeing the backlash to the finale and the number of people online saying they're done, if I was an executive, like, and I'm not, again, like, this is less about the quality of the writing than if I was genuinely an executive at Prime Video and I was looking at what we get out of the Wheel of Time versus the relative cost of it, I don't think that this would be high on my renew list when there are shows that are so much cheaper that outperform it. Like Reacher is so much cheaper than the show. And the press around Reacher is so positive for the network. And if I was an executive and I had a show that pissed off the right because we dared to be woke, but also pissed off the left because of the way we like. There's just a point where I think the negative press around this show would be a detriment to my desire to keep funneling. Gotta be like $150 million a season, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the show needs more money to continue than this season had. I think that like if you're gonna do any of this, the rest of the show justice, you have to spend more. And I think that that's a big ask.
Is huge.
If the metrics around the audience drop off from season to season and within seasons are true,
Jess actually says Reacher actually has a bigger budget.
there's no way.
I don't know. I wouldn't
There's
know,
no way
but
Breacher's budget is bigger than this show.
I couldn't tell you.
If that's true, then that's insane. Because there's almost no CGI in that show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that the numbers, like the watch numbers this week have been great. And obviously the ratings this season have been great, but I have seen a lot of people online who are not happy with the way the finale went, and especially how Swan was treated. And so that is definitely something that they have to keep in mind, because it is expensive, right?
I mean, Reacher's only $14 million an episode. There's no way they're spending less than $14 million an episode on Wheel of Time.
Someone said Wheel of Time is 10.
No fucking way.
Yeah, about 10 million an episode.
For season 1.
Oh, okay. Potentially even higher for season 2.
Oh, yeah, but season 1 looked bad. There's no way this season's...
Season 1...
They filmed on a beach that you literally can't get to.
What?
In season 2. Like, there's... The reality is... $260 million on the first 2 seasons. What is the season 3 budget? Is there, like, no numbers?
Might not have released it. I don't know. Maybe try typing in season 3. Because yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously season 1, 10 million episode.
16 million per episode. That's way
16.
smaller than it should be. But here's the problem. Okay.
So about the same.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? That is not enough money to do what's next.
Yeah.
It just isn't. Like realistically, if you're going to keep going with this show, unless and this is where like this you just get into the realities of television, right? The show, the story of the Wheel of Time only gets bigger. You can't
even introduce
keep
the
the show at the size that it is currently at.
Yeah.
Where there's like 4 or 5 people who channel. It's the Star Wars problem, right? Like Acolyte, it has this massive budget because you have more lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have more Force users, Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of got away with it because there's 2 Force users. Or there's technically more, but whatever.
Yeah.
But there's only like 1 or 2 in an episode at a time. There's very few episodes where there's a bunch of people. But like in order to do the rest of the Wheel of Time, the budget is going to have to grow. It just is going to have to. You can't do Ashaman kill.
Yeah.
That scene alone is going to cost you $5 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Dumais Wells is so big. And I think that if I was an executive and I was like, look, like, we've accomplished a lot on like a shoestring, basically. We've accomplished a lot on a shoestring so far, but everything is about to get more expensive. And Trump's tariffs are about to make everything more expensive. And like the reality of the global economy is that we're probably going to get less big budget things in the next few years. I just think in the market right now, unless Wheel of Time season 3 like doubles the season 2 audience, which would only put it back at the season 1 audience, right? Like, and this is where it gets like really tricky, right? If season 3 is double season 2's audience, that is about how many people watch season 1.
Right.
Those logistics are really tough, and the chances that they doubled the season 2 audience to me are not very high.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, like on a really practical level, I don't know that I think that the show will get renewed. I think that the numbers are going to have to be so in its favor. And I think that is unfortunate because of the improvements they've made.
And here's the thing: there's a reason they haven't announced the renewal yet, right? And so they might be. It's done great this week, you know, in terms of like number 1 on services or top 10 in this area or whatever.
Yeah, but that's
like,
always bullshit because these services only launch 1 show at a time. So
I
it's
just
like
mean if it can
competing with week 14 of.
I just
Reacher.
mean if they can stay in the top whatever for several weeks consistently because people are coming back to watch the show who maybe didn't love season 2. I think that there is like potential there because I have definitely seen some people, they were like, I gave up on the show and then I heard season 3 had great shit, so I came back and watched it. So I think potentially there that like it is possible. But I don't know. Unfortunately the global economy and the state of the US is a factor right now. So that does matter.
I think that here's the honest truth. I think that if they had managed to do this one season a year, or like year and a half, I think that they'd be in good shape. I think that realistically, right, if you're gonna go into production on season 4 in a year, which is reasonable given a renewal, right? Like maybe they could get up and running in 8 months, maybe. You're not getting season 4 until mid 2027. I don't know. I think that if they do get a season 4, it'll be the last season, and I don't think that. And honestly, like ending on Do My Wells is really weird.
Yeah, that would be really weird.
Here's the thing, y'all. I don't see this show going another 11 years unless it becomes a massive hit. 11, like to get to season 8, which is what people are talking about, it would have to come out for the next 11 years, essentially.
Yep.
We would still be getting seasons in, like, I'm willing to bet this final season would be 2036.
Yeah, the actors are going to age a full decade.
And honestly, by then, we might get those 8 seasons, and they might just be AI. They might just finish the show by, like, AI-ing seasons of the show, right? Like, that's more realistic to me than us getting 11 more years of this. And I don't know. I think that it's really tough to it's really tough to adjudicate what like the renewal for the show looks like because Amazon is so cagey about numbers.
Yeah.
But in a world where in a show that can't maintain its budget and has to get more expensive every season to do what the books to even try and start to come close to what the books are doing because they're not even trying yet, right? The Battle of the White Tower at the end of this season was not a battle. They just cut off Swan's head off screen. And
the marketing of the show has been pretty piss poor. Like I'm sorry. They have
really. I liked the marketing for this season.
I liked the posters and I liked the trailers. I mean, the amount that you have seen the show being pushed, I think is
that's interesting.
Really disappointing, especially because they never did the fucking Origins stuff.
Argent Sky, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Is it August of 2027? They just said August.
2027.
They said maybe? August. So
maybe we're gonna get those Origins episodes. That'd be great. Does anyone know where those are?
Gentle Giant says, ideally they get 2 seasons to finish off the show and we'll shoot them back to back. The problem with that is that shooting seasons back to back is such a financial cost up front.
Yes.
For very little value. So for a show like this, if they were to announce that, and they know this, right? If they were to announce, we're doing seasons 4 and 5, they're going to be the final 2 seasons of the show, we're shooting them back to back, the audience of people that would leave knowing that we're not going to get the full Wheel of Time show is not insignificant. And there's a real risk of looking like you're throwing in the white towel and your audience leaving knowing they're not going to get the end. Yeah,
because a lot of people will not watch a show if it leaves off without being concluded. Yeah, I've done that myself. I still watched Firefly, even though I know we only got 1 season. But I know that like there's a lot of content out there to watch. Yeah, there's so many things to choose. There are lots of people who would be like, why would I watch something? Why would I spend that time on this thing that never got finished when I can watch something that has finished or will finish and is continually going?
Yeah, and the other problem with it is that you will have people who go, oh, this is all we're getting. I'll wait till it's all out and I'll finish it then. And the whole thing for Amazon Prime is getting monthly subscribers. Like, so people dropping in for 1 month to watch the show isn't actually valuable to them. So that method, they might, if they were to film 2 seasons back to back, they wouldn't announce it as the final season. Because
no.
the value lost in announcing it as like this is all you're getting, I think it would be a killer for the show. It'd be it would hurt them a lot.
No, if they announce a renewal, it's not going to be like it will never be this is the end. If it gets to the end, they'll get to the end, but they're not going to be like, guys, the end is coming.
Here's what I will say, because that was all very negative, and I understand why people might be like, oh, so you just want to renew it, why'd you talk about it for so long? Just because I find the business of this industry interesting. I think that based on the improvements made between season 3 and 4, the show deserves a season 4. Or between season 2 and 3. I do think the show deserves a renewal for the quality of what they presented in season 3.
Yeah.
I think that they're starting to get on the right track in some ways. I don't think and this isn't even for me, I don't care, which is definitely like not in the show's toward the show's benefit. I don't care if they get another season. If they don't, that's fine to me. But for the people who do love the show, I would like for those people to get it.
Yeah.
There's so much good television coming out right now that is just better put together than this, that I'm like more interested in a season 2. Look at fucking Daredevil Born Again, right? Like, yes, was the end of season 1 the most satisfying finale? No, we said that. But we were both like, it doesn't really matter because they're filming season 2 right now and it's coming next year.
Yeah.
Right? There's a real value in being able to, as a team, be like, we hope you're enjoying this season. We're already working on the next one because our network believes in us.
Yeah.
There's literal marketing value in belief.
Yeah.
And I think that even if Amazon Prime wants to renew the show, the window where they're going to is closing fast, because if it gets renewed in like 7 months, the audience just won't feel hopeful.
Yeah.
The audience will, this happened with Community, right? Like the constant like being on the edge of cancellation for Community really hurt the show because the actors got less interested. The actors didn't want to fight every off season to come back, right? Donald Glover talked about that, about the drain of people loving the show, but then feeling like the studio wasn't behind them.
Yeah.
And then he stopped being in later seasons as much, right?
Yep.
I think that they need to, if Amazon Prime wants this to work and wants more of the show, they need to make a big deal moving forward.
Yeah.
We have more comments in the Discord here. There's one, Lightblind Full says, yeah, merch is also where Amazon is failing. Apparently they can't make merch because of iWatt's Red Eagle's entertainment deal. So apparently part of the merch thing is that they don't have... That might be... That's just something I read online. I don't know that that's 100% true. This is all alleged. But if that's true, that sucks because it also makes sense why they're like, don't make anything merchandisable. It doesn't matter. But like the fact that they don't have like plush Trollocs and stuff out is crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, like, they finally have the medallion for Matt.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great merch.
Which... I hate the medallion.
I don't love the design.
But can I tell you why?
Sure.
It looks like the Phoenix Coyotes old logo.
Oh, sure.
The Foxhead medallion. I was like, oh, I guess he was Phoenix. The Aelfin were Phoenix Coyotes fans back in a past life.
Sure.
And so it's dumb. It's not even the logo they use now. It's like their literal old logo.
Jesus.
From when I was a kid. Relic Hunter says, out of the characters who are alive, which has had the least development and which has had the most in season 3? Who needs more time to shine in season 4?
Egwene has the least development.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they gave her most of season 2, so like I think that might have been a charity thing. Sure. I think that Matt is in a really rough spot. As a character.
It was better than last season.
Not really though. Like
it was.
No, he was just very entertaining. But in terms of development, like Matt's plotline is such a mess. His
stuff kind of starts now, I guess, because now he has the medallion, but then his memories were taken away again, which is something I don't really understand. Maybe chat can help us understand this a little bit more. Matt got memories, and then the Aelfin took them away again. So now he doesn't have his memories. So he's got to get memories again? ?
The Matt stuff is so confusing to me in that
I do think my contenders for most character development are going to be Rand and Perrin for this season.
Yeah, Perrin's was definitely rushed. They got to the Lord Goldeneye.
They got there pretty quick.
I don't know why the show is allergic to montage.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can tell so much story in montage. I genuinely don't understand why they won't just do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Dalmari says, I think they're doing it in reverse. Horn gave him too many memories, so now the gate took some away. Yeah, the problem is that the memories thing, the memories that he gets from the Aelfin are kind of the catalyst moving forward. And so, like, what is his plot line now that he's lost memories?
I thought this was the point where he was gonna become the general, Matt. Especially because Couladin is about to fight possibly at Tyr.
Light Blinded Fool, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
My guess with Matt's memories is they took away the memories that weren't his, and were greedy, and also took some extra, probably most emotional memories like his past deaths. But they like took like his like generic memories, like how he got there.
Yeah, that doesn't really seem to be a very meaningful memory, but I don't know. I just think that flip-flopping back and forth has been unnecessarily convoluted.
Yeah. I want to bring this before it goes away. I wouldn't say Perrin, this is Zesty Crouton. I wouldn't say Perrin developed. I'd say he went from Blacksmith to Lord Goldeneyes off screen. I disagree. I think his scenes with Fail and the scene with Alana at his wife's grave were really, really cathartic moments for him, and he moved forward in a lot of ways. I agree.
50-50 on that. I'm like, yes, but also there was stuff that we got to see.
I don't think he moved into the leadership position that the show wanted him to. I think that he moved forward emotionally in a really solid way.
Right.
And then the show was like, and now he's also a leader. Yeah. But like he never learned. So the problem with Perrin in the show is that he has no reason to be Lord Goldeneyes. Like in the books, Lan teaches him for like weeks, right? Like they travel and Lan teaches him how to fight, and he learns a lot from Lan. Him and Rand, right?
Yeah.
And that's just cut completely from the show. And so there's not, like, Perrin hasn't been in combat in the show.
Well, you fought the White Cloaks twice.
Sure, kind of like incidentally though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not really on purpose. And so the idea that Perrin is like a combat leader is really weird because he's not he's not learned anything from anyone.
Yeah.
He's just sort of been around at times. And yeah, I don't know.
Oh, and Tam wasn't even at the fucking.
Apparently, like again, actor conflicts. The show is like, well, one of the things that I find frustrating about talking about the Wheel of Time online is that the audience will excuse basically anything. So some parts of the audience who are like, well, you can't be mad at of course the fight in the Two Rivers wasn't as good as it could have been because Tam couldn't be there. As if that's like a reason why the show is less good. I don't know. As if that makes it okay. I don't know that I agree that makes it okay. But there is a sect of the audience on this show that will cling to any excuse to defend the show at all costs. And I think the constant like, well, production shit. And I'm like, yeah, but like Game of Thrones went for 10 years with almost no issues. And it's because they took care of their actors, they paid well, they had good contracts, and they did their job, right? And I think that Wheel of Time is like, and I put this at Rafe's feet, honestly. I really do. I think that he's the showrunner and it's his job to not have these problems. And the show has these problems because Rafe is not showrunning effectively, right? I think that when you have this many production problems that are being used as excuses for the show not being as good as it could have been, it comes down to a showrunner who does not have either the power or the like business wherewithal to run the show effectively. And I do put that on Rafe's feet. And I think that if he wants to... I was shocked when I heard that he was going to be doing God of War. And I know he's not. I know that... But I was like, dude, like you can barely run one show. You're going to run two massive shows at the same time when you are having nothing but production problems on one show. Like... Focus on Wheel of Time, my guy. You have contract issues out the ass.
Yeah.
You are casting people who don't want to stick around for the long run. Like, what, like, what do you mean you're going to go do another show right now?
That also doesn't show faith in the show, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When people hear, like, oh, the actor didn't want to come back, it's because they think that the actor doesn't think that the show's going anywhere, right?
Well, and that's a huge point. If Wheel of Time was a hit, Sofia Kaneda would have been like, of course I want to stay on it. This is going to help my career. But she, like, when you have an actress like Sophie, who people keep saying is, like, a huge actress, she's not. She's incredible. She's a phenomenal actress. She's not an A-list actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
She's not some...
She's not Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. She's not Rosamund Pike. You know what I mean? She's not some massive star. When you have an actress like her saying it would be better for my career to be shooting something else.
Yeah. It doesn't look good.
Like... that then
depending on how much truth of, you know, the he said she said of, like, what happened with her death and there, who knows, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And people care about that, right?
Yeah.
We have some questions in the Discord that I want to make sure that these people get.
Yeah, we're getting to them.
Yeah.
Relic Hunter also asked, this show feels like Swiss cheese to me. Tasty, but there's a lot of holes when it comes to story, motivations, and world building. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What hole would you like to fill? What is something that the show needs to tackle and make right? Ooh, that's a good question.
Giggity.
I mean, Matt is the big one for me. I think they've made him, even if they're doing reverse or whatever, I think they've just made him too convoluted. It's just too complicated to try and understand what's going on with Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that one. I think my other... I think maybe my other one would be, like, the White Tower stuff, but that doesn't really feel like a hole to fill. That feels more like watering it down in a way that is less interesting. But Matt definitely feels like kind of a gaping hole in the story right now because I don't feel like we have a good understanding of what has happened to him. What the fuck was the tea?
Yeah.
Like... And obviously there's stuff with the actor being changed, and that I completely understand. But I don't think that they have serviced his character very well, in spite of that. Like I think Matt is the one that needs more, and hopefully from this point moving forward, because he's gone through the gates now and come out, that will be the case. But I think he is the biggest Swiss cheese hole that we have right now.
I would have cut, if I could have read these scripts, the number one cut I would have made to this season is I would have cut all the Rand and Egwene stuff. I would not have gotten them back together, and I would have focused all of that time on Rand and the Maidens.
Yep.
I would have leaned 100% in on the Maidens taking Rand under their wing and viewing him as the daughter of a maiden. Mm-hmm. And, like, I would have shown so much more Aiel culture through having the Maidens around Rand, like, be annoying to him. Like,
well, that doesn't happen yet until after.
I know, but we're condensing down to 8 seasons.
Sorry,
so I would have used all of that time that we spend on Rand and Egwene's pointless relationship. Mm-hmm. I would have cut all of that to focus on Aiel culture and to focus all of that time, of that scene work on. So that when they find out that Rand has been sleeping with Lanfear, it's not Egwene. Because
it's the Maidens.
This is assuming season 2's already happened, right?
Right, yeah.
I can't change season 2, but season 3, I would have cut all that so that when Aviendha says that he's been sleeping with a shadow,
Shadow
Souled?
Yeah.
It is like the Maidens who feel betrayed.
Yeah.
And not this, like, high school relationship.
Yeah, I would have preferred that for sure.
And the Maidens are so mad at him, but still show up at Alcair Dal because they are so honor-driven. Yeah, like, it would have been really cool Aiel stuff, and instead it's this, like, relationship that I genuinely could not have cared less about.
I also think that cutting the relationship stuff and spending more time with Egwene actually learning how to use Teleran Riyadh instead of her just being immediately a pro at it.
And having more reins. If you're gonna cut... Swan's later stuff. Yeah. This would have been time for, like, they could have, instead of have her being pulled between, does she want to sleep with Rand or hang out with the Wise Ones, have her be pulled between learning Teleran Riyadh from the Wise Ones and channeling from Moraine. Yeah. And, like, really, like, you could play, there could have been a really interesting dynamic of watching Egwene be torn between the One Power and the Wise Ones, between being an Aes Sedai and being Aiel wise woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that would have been stronger. We would have learned more about the world through it.
Yeah.
One of the problems with Egwene and Rand's relationship is there's no world building in it.
It doesn't serve any purpose.
Yeah.
At all.
Except to get to the point where there's a fight. And it's just drama. And we could have taken all of that time with them, with them doing different things.
Yeah.
And I wish that they had.
Yeah.
I would have filled in a little bit more on what the Sarkonnen is. It seemed very random to me as a terangrial.
It's just powerful.
Yeah. The problem is that Moraine is like, I can't control it. How do you control that much power? And Rand is like, don't submit. And then we just see her fight Lanfear with it, but I didn't really get the vibe that Moraine I just didn't. The Moraine didn't seem to have a difference of opinion about how to use a Sarkonnen between Rand's conversation with her in episode 6 and the finale. She's just very comfortable having it with her in the finale.
Mm-hmm.
When Rand wakes up from the dream where Egwene boops Lanfear out of Tel'aran'rhiod, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And Aviendha, the Wise Ones are just okay with Aviendha having fire spears now, which just goes against so much Wise One stuff.
She's supposed to not be a maiden of the spear anymore.
She fucking loves her fire spears now.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a loophole. I don't know. When they do that, Moraine she's pulling power into that device that she knows she can't control.
Mm-hmm.
The night before, knows she can't control when she's talking to Rand. And the idea that she's just wielding that thing in the middle of Cold Rock's hold so casually after being like, Rand, when I use this thing, I blew up a fucking mountain. It's
pretty crazy.
And then the next day she's like, it's Lanfear. I might risk everyone's lives. There's just things like that where I wish they thought this through and showed me why she's now comfortable with this thing that the last time she talked about was I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And it seems like she just does now.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a hole to me that I was like, oh, I guess this just doesn't matter. I guess this just isn't important.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel like the show is don't worry about it. We don't care about this, so you shouldn't either.
Oob says, Jesus, guys, stuff happens off screen. I guess you can just say that if it doesn't make sense, it happened off screen.
You might as well
makes it okay.
Off screen. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really good off screen. That we're not going to get to see. The Black Tower is going to be built off screen. We're not even going to get to see it.
No, I think it is. I think that Mazrim Taim will already have the Black Tower going in season 4.
I know. And that is far less interesting and doesn't make for good TV, so.
Kaz says, does knowing that Eelfinn was practical effects make a difference, or will you always break into song when seeing them? I think that the fact that it's practical effects is incredible. I think it looks really cool. It just also looks like a cat from Cats. Just because it is practical doesn't make it look less like a design from a Broadway production of Cats the musical.
I feel a little bad. I feel like I need to apologize because I let my reaction to that makeup kind of throw me off for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to apologize for having a genuine reaction, but I was not able to pull myself together because I was thrown so off my rocker. I couldn't stop laughing, and I'm sorry, that probably was very frustrating in the reaction to it. I am not a huge fan of the design. It was comical to me instead of intimidating, and other people are going to feel differently.
Yeah.
Because everyone had their own initial reaction to it, and that was mine.
I do think it's really impressive. And the flocking technology is cool. Someone said Cats wishes it had the flocking technology. No, it does not. The dancers in Cats do not want to sit for 7 hours to do a show.
No, that would be hell.
That joke
because then you'd have to warm up in the makeup.
I thought it was really successful. I do think that if Cats didn't exist, I would like it more. It's just, as a musical theater person, it looks like Cats. It just, and the heels, the
hooves are
they're not hooves. They're shoes.
They're hoof shaped.
No, they're the heelless heels.
I know, that look like hooves. Those shoes
Sure.
look like hooves. And so
Sure.
when you slap those on somebody, it looks like hooves. I know it's not actually hooves. It is. I get it. I've seen those shoes. I've seen Lady Gaga in my life before. But
Yeah,
it still looks. The shape of it looks like a hoof, and I don't. That one I cannot understand. The other stuff I can. The feet I don't get it. I don't know what the fuck. It's a fox. Foxes.
He does not look like a fox. He looks like a cat.
He's
Cats.
orange. I don't know.
He looks like Skimbleshanks the railway cat.
I know.
He just does. I'm sorry. He just looks like Skimbleshanks. And there's a reason I started singing Skimbleshanks. That's what he looks like. It is so impressive.
Yes.
He looks better than the movie that that movie.
Absolutely.
Like the technology is better, but he still looks like a cat from Cats. And they didn't do enough to get away from Cats to me.
Yeah.
For other people
who
aren't gonna care. This is like when I laughed when Ave Maria played in One Piece, right? For a lot of people, that's a very emotional scene, and people are mad that I laughed. I laughed because of my personal connection to that song,
Yes.
not because of the scene.
Yes.
This is one of those things where, like, my personal connection to Cats, and like it's been a part of my life since I was a kid. It is a subjective thing.
Yeah.
The makeup design is obviously incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously incredible.
Yeah.
And anyone who says it isn't an incredible like step forward in makeup is insane.
Yeah.
It deserves an Emmy. Genuinely, it is so cool what they did.
Yeah.
And also personally took me out of the show.
And the scene, and I wish it hadn't taken me out of the show, because the scene that is really well played, and I think it sets up a lot of stuff. I think they did a good job of the actual like writing of the scene of that. I wish that design had not been so hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And again, that is like a me thing, that's an us thing, because we're so familiar with Cats, and that was just in our brains. I hope you guys loved it, and that it did not throw you off like it did us.
Hadariao says all of it would have been perfect if he had more Foxy features. I think if he just had fox ears.
Yeah.
I think if just prominent
some
fox
whiskers.
ears would have really saved it for me.
Cats also have whiskers.
No, I genuinely think it's just ears.
Yeah.
I think ears would have, like, I think if he had like some big fox ears, the rest of it would have worked much better for me.
Yeah.
So Dalmari in the Discord asks, if you could give the Leandrin treatment, fleshing out a C-tier side character, antagonist, or otherwise to another minor book character, who would it be?
Another minor book character?
Yeah, like a Leandrin level, like, the show thinks Leandrin's like the fucking main antagonist of the show, but...
Right. I would probably, weirdly enough, have given it to Leanne, because it seems like Leanne is gonna be the one to teach Egwene now, question mark? I don't know. I'm very confused.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I think that for
it's
like...
also like, what's a minor character? What is that threshold?
It's tough because I think they've dropped the ball on a lot of like B-tier characters.
Matt's dad.
Matt's dad, Min.
Min is a main character, though.
No, she's not. She's like she's a B tier. She's not
in the book. She's a main character.
No, but the only A tier characters, because I think Moraine is a B tier character in the books.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the only A tier characters in the books are Rand, Egwene, Perrin, Matt, Nynaeve,
Elaine
eventually, and that's it. Like those are the A tier characters.
Right, those are who we follow around. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The B tier is like Min, Moraine, Loyal, Fail, like, and then like C tier, like, you know who honestly I would have given way more time to this season?
Gawain and Galad.
Yeah,
Gawain and Galad.
I think the end of this season does nothing to establish how those characters' plots move forward.
Yeah. Oh, Avienda's a tier as well. Sorry, yeah.
Avienda's B tier to me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, especially like as much as I love Avienda and I think she's wonderful, Avienda's emotional arcs are so much defined by following Rand and then like following Rand for Elaine, and like she is a step down from Elaine in terms of her own like personal journey.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't give her A tier status in the books.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's I see.
What is a plot line that is Avienda's like leading plot line? Right? She's just always kind of present for Rand stuff. She's present for Elaine stuff. She's present and
Her only like personal character growth really comes from letting go of being a maiden and leaning into channeling and stuff that she's like destined for, I
100%.
guess.
Yeah.
I
think Aviendha and Min are on a similar tier with Moraine and Lan, and because like Lan's not A tier, Nynaeve is, but Lan isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
that's fair. No, I 100% it's Gawain and Galad. They showed up and did nothing this season, and they kind of didn't feel like they even needed to be there.
I'm amazed they said nothing about Logain this season.
Not a
no
word.
mention of him. I understand, like, I think that Logain doesn't do a lot until he's healed, and so I do understand why he's not in it much, but Arzu, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much. Killing Swan didn't just mess up Swan's plotline, but also Gawain's whole bad decision stuff. Yeah.
Well, it messes up, like, why does Galad become a white cloak in this show? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Oh, actually, no. You know what? You can do Galad. Galad becomes a white cloak because of after he finds out what Robin did to his mom, and he goes like full like all channeling is bad.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but the Gawain stuff, I agree. I don't know how they bring that around in the same way for Gawain's plotline, unless they're like, hey, everyone hates Gawain in the books, and so we're gonna completely change his character. Why? But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I just that they kind of reduce Gawain and Galad to the princes from Into the Woods.
Did I abuse her?
Yeah, they're just out fucking.
Disdain?
You know what I mean?
Why does she run from me?
I wish that they had done more with them, because I here's the thing. I think the casting for Gawain and Galad was exemplary.
Right? Yeah, they fucking crushed it.
I thought they crushed casting both of those boys.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of really quality stuff there. I just think that their scenes they're charming, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. Who has the Horn of Valir? I don't know.
Elaine, Swan, or Aleda does.
Does she?
Yeah, Swan puts it in the Amerlin's vault or whatever.
Yeah, but in the books, only Swan can open that.
Yeah.
So I guess the horn is just done. We never get the horn back.
No, it's just gonna. The horn is gone until Egwene becomes the Amerlin again.
No, because it's not the Amerlin that can open that box. It is specifically Swan, and anyone else who tries to open it, it just explodes, right? Isn't it like a bomb?
No, they'll figure it out. That'll work out. It's gonna sit in a vault until Egwene's Amerlin.
With the dagger.
But like also like no, but realistically, right? Like the horn isn't blown again until the end. Like they don't need to show us the horn. It can just be in the White Tower until.
But I feel like people follow Matt because of the horn. Like that is part of how he's able to have a fucking army that follows him.
But he doesn't have the horn with him.
No, but people.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't carry the horn around with him in the books. People still.
He does sometimes.
No, he doesn't. The White Tower has it.
No. Once we get to the Band of the Red Hand, doesn't he have the horn with him?
No, it's at the White Tower. Because they take.
I thought they were like.
No, they have to take. No, you're.
I thought he was like, people follow me because of the horn on my hip, and people, and then they were like, no.
No. So in the books, they have to rush Matt back to Tarvalon because he has to get healed.
Yeah.
Because he's still dying, and they take the horn from him while he's unconscious, right? And then it just stays at the White Tower until it's stolen. I can't remember who steals it.
Okay, yeah. Masana? I don't know.
No. It's I can't remember.
No, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's just in the tower for.
I guess then it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Gawain and Galad.
Thank you, Rainbow Sprinkles.
Ildwam asks, what new side plots that were invented for the show would you cut, and with the time gained, would you choose to add in stuff from the books that was left out, or merely spend more time fleshing out the stuff that's already there?
So the Ren and Egwene relationship cut. Leandrin stuff, I don't think you need to cut all of it. Trim that down. We get it. We've seen her pass like twice now. I think that you...
I just think giving her 2 tragic backstories moments... Like, I don't need Leandrin to have a tragic moment each season.
Yeah,
I just don't need that. Like,
exactly.
I get it. I feel for her. It just doesn't accomplish much.
I think Eleda going through the arches doesn't matter. Why? I don't really understand that.
Oh, seeing this backstory of how Swan got raised was so unnecessary.
I didn't need it. It was a cool moment. It was very well acted, 100%. But again, didn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was dumb. I thought that who stands for Swan? 4 people said that.
Okay,
Who stands for Elena?
Alviarn is a fucking drama queen. She doing that on purpose is so fucking petty for a white sister. Like I was like, girl, guys.
I know, but it's not the logical thing to do.
That's what I mean. It could have been any of the other Ajas. The fact that it was the white Aja is hilarious.
If you're gonna back Swan, do it in a way that doesn't cause someone to be your enemy.
Yes.
More than you already would.
Yes, exactly. I do think that seeing the flashbacks to the Age of Legends in previous seasons were unnecessary. However, it was cool to see them again in Ruidian. So I'm kind of a little 50-50 on whether or not to keep those cold open.
I do think that they've... this is something. I think that they have established that we're going to need the Bowl of Winds. In the rewatch last night, when Rand changes the weather... It changes everywhere, right? Like, the Tenchiko people are on the boat sailing into Rand's storm.
That's Rand's stuff.
The weather over the White Cloak army is getting fucked up. I think that the Bowl of the Winds plotline is going to be that they're having to solve what Rand did. It's not going to be the Dark One. The Bowl of the Winds plotline is going to become Rand fucked up the weather that day, and we need to use the Bowl of Winds to, undo what Rand did.
Should have let go when Egwene told him to let go.
I genuinely think that's what they're setting up. Samantha says, why make it Rand's fault? I don't know.
Well,
I think it's dumb. Look, here's the thing. I think that this is a bad idea. It just seems like that's what they're establishing. Like, the fact that he created a storm in the Isle Waste, and then you see it as far as the two rivers in the Everyone is Everywhere.
Or it just means that they're going to cut the Bowl of the Wind.
Hadari Ao is agreeing with me. Everyone we saw the storm coming out from the waste. I genuinely think they are going to have... the Bowl of the Winds be undoing what Rand did.
Samantha's like, I think you're right and I hate it. Yeah. Or they just don't do any of the bowl. I think they cut the bowl.
But then why show this storm crossing the whole planet?
Because it shows Rand how powerful Rand is. This is a literally life-altering moment where he is convincing the Eel to get on his side. And I'm gonna hope and I'm gonna pray that it is just that means that they're cutting the Bowl of Winds because Rand is powerful enough to just change the weather.
Blige Monkey says, yeah, the Dark One doesn't seem to be able to touch the pattern in the show. No, because they did. I was right. They cut the Bubbles of Evil.
Yes, they made it
Lantern power.
Yeah, you're right.
So the Dark One doesn't actually...
He accidentally made the Stormfather.
That was very funny.
Crossover time.
Brandon Sanderson's gonna love it. Yeah. It crosses the world every 7 days.
They still haven't fully explained why the Dark One is bad. Well, yeah.
Well, but because they've kind of just made it no, they have though. The Dark Oaths kill you if you break them, right?
Kill you permanently.
The Dark Ones, the people who work for the Dark One are evil, so that's their explanation. But
yeah,
I do agree that they haven't done a great job of when they defeating the Dark One doesn't seem all that relevant. Weirdly, you know what they haven't really established? The last battle. At all.
Maybe they're just gonna jump straight to the Gathering Storm. That would be unhinged. Unhinged.
I don't know. If they were to cleanse the taint at the end of next season, I could see it.
But they haven't set up the taint, really.
Yeah, they have. They set it up in season 1.
I mean, as being a problem, a wider spread problem. I think that the reason that the taint needs to be cleansed so badly is because we're about to watch all these Ashraman go insane. Yes, watching Rand go insane is tragic, but I think that you need... The show keeps cutting down on scale.
100%. Yeah. But that's why I could see them just cleansing the tape next season so they don't have to deal with it. It's the same thing as moving Nynaeve. Here's the thing. Moving Nynaeve's block forward to now means that Tyr is going to be easy. Because Nynaeve
can just take it herself.
But here's the problem. Yeah. Nynaeve is not an Aes Sedai, has no oaths, and is at full power for Tyr.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No oaths!
If Nynaeve, Egwene, and Rand are all there, there's no Black Aja left.
True.
There's only...
they are, but we don't know who they are.
No, there's Liandrin, and that's it. On Liandrin's team. Liandrin's whole squad is gone.
But there's more Black Aja.
Sure. And, maybe we'll find some more for Liandrin.
Galena is gonna be a Dark Friend. There's no fucking
Right,
way.
but Galena has to go to Tame. Galena's
Maybe.
going after Mazin Kane.
I just think cleansing the taint before the Black Tower is established is the far inferior choice. It is less interesting. The stakes are lower, and then it's like, okay, well now we cleanse the taint, so now we can pull together male channelers. It's like, no, that's not as interesting. It's not as impactful. Yeah. Right? The moment where it is cleansed and they don't have to be fearful anymore. Like,
oh, sorry, Sutama went to get tamed, not Galena.
Oh, yeah. No, Galena is the one who led Varen out of the tower.
But okay,
who lured her out.
Here's the problem with here's the problem with Dumai's Wells now too, right? The shield doesn't work the same way.
The shield? Sorry?
Shielding doesn't work the same way, right?
What? Sorry, what do you mean?
Like Dumai's Wells, Rand should. So if Swan can rip through a shield that has two women holding it on her, right? How are they going to do Dumai's Wells?
What do you mean?
Like, the whole, like, Dumai's Wells with Rand thing, part of it is that they're able to shield him, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way they've done the shield, though, in the...
It's not going to be a shield anymore. It'll be the collar.
No, they can't do the collar.
Oh, yeah. Leandrin's got it. Leandrin knows who some of the Dark Friends are in the tower. She took some with her, but like there could definitely be more. I think that the shielding has been too wishy-washy in the show. It's going to be the collar, and because we know that works.
Erudite brings up that Logain broke through a 3 Aes Sedai shield. Like, it's such a cool moment in the books when Rand breaks through the shield, and
yes.
We've just seen so many people break through shields already on the show. It's really disappointing that they didn't save that for him. Because that's like one of his moments. It's sort of like Nynaeve healing is like her moment. They've just kind of been like, well, this happens later, so it's possible, so we're just going to throw it in early. Not realizing that they're kind of losing... There's a lot of big moments later on that they're kind of losing by not
I think
saving
it's
them.
Going to be breaking out of the collar. Breaking out of the male Adam. Like, I think that they're going to blend the breaking of the shield and the breaking out of the collar moments.
Yeah, which is honestly fine, because like the moment with Semiraj is fine, right? Like,
well, and Semiraj is kind of
it's a great moment in the books, but like how do you fit that into the show?
Yeah, I think that you can give like an homage to it and combine it with breaking through the shield.
Light of Valiant Fool says, I think they need to introduce the concept before the big moment. That's the opposite of what they're doing.
They don't do that.
In order to have it be a big moment, it has to be something no one's ever done before.
Yeah.
But by having Swan casually rip through a shield in the street, it's not a big moment anymore because you've seen multiple characters do it.
Yeah.
So it isn't Rand doing something that hasn't been done before, right?
Yeah.
It's not that Rand figures out how to do something that hasn't been done.
Yeah. And I think that Rand being the only one to overcome the Adam makes sense. He's the fucking Dragon Reborn. He should be the only person able to do that, right?
But he doesn't. Does he overcome it on his own?
What do you mean on his own?
I can't remember. I need to read the Semiraj scene again because I feel like I'm misremembering it.
He can't link. There's no one there to like link with. Like there's no.
No, doesn't someone help him? Doesn't someone give him a second and then in that second he gets out of it? I can't remember. I need to reread that scene.
No, he uses the true power, and so he's able to like.
Right, but they've already established that doesn't work because the shield on Samael stops him from using the true power.
Samael can't use the true power.
But all the Forsaken in the show can.
I thought only Lanfear could. Well, I feel like I've only seen Lanfear use it. She's the only one with the saw.
Ooh, okay,
in the
maybe you're right. I thought they were kind of saying that like in the show everyone can. The true power was just what they.
The only saw that we have seen is Lanfear. I don't even think we saw Ishi with the saw in his eyes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so Rand is going to have seen Lanfear use it so much, I guess, that he's able to.
Okay, I buy that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Right, he uses the true power to overcome the Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that you speed up bringing the true power into the story.
They already have, right? Like, Lanfear uses it.
They have already fast-tracked it, which is why I think that them combining the breaking out of the shield moment with the breaking out of the collar moment makes the most sense.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Not well established. Yeah, I don't think it has been super clear. Because if you are a show only watcher, you have no idea what's going on in the eyes.
I disagree. I actually think they've done a good job of showing the true power as being like just the taint. It looks a little bit too much like Venom to me, but I will say I don't think the CGI of the true power is as good as the CGI of regular weaves.
Sure, I just
when
mean
it's all
that,
the
like,
black murky goo around Lanfear, it's not the CGI of it looks a little bit faker than
Sure. I just think
even
that
when it's Rand using it.
they haven't done a good job of explaining that there is a difference. There is very clearly a visual difference in Lanfear channeling versus like Moraine channeling. Like that has been made clear. There is no
Yeah.
information onto why or how that is.
No, and I don't think they need to yet. I think it is enough that it just looks different.
Adrian says, I don't know what the true power is as a show watcher.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry we are deep into book spoilers here. But yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think that has even been established, except that it does look different.
Yeah.
So.
Which I'm fine with for now.
Yes. 100%. I think that they have time to establish that. The fact that it looks different is setting the groundwork for them to build on that. But again, that is why I think that, that's where those moments are leading to.
I think Erudite Gaming in the chat here is really putting into words why the true power looks a little funky to me. It looks too physical, they said. It seems like her conjuring slime, not her wielding a different power.
Okay.
That's it. It's too like milky and watery. Whereas
like mud
the weaves look like stars kind of being pulled out of the ether. It looks a little bit too much
mud.
like something is there. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that that's a great way of putting that.
But the other thing with the true power is like, who can see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember in the books because the true power isn't gendered. So like, who can see you wield the true power is an interesting question that I don't know the answer to.
I actually don't think anyone can unless they've also wielded the true power. But no, Summer...
Chris Sleeping 65 says, did you enjoy the show version of Balefire? The first time, I was a little on the fence about it being a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
But I really, really love the effect of the Black Aja going back into the past.
The rewind of time, I think I'm really happy with. That looks great, but Balefire works completely differently. It doesn't just cut through the building. It, like, blows up some rocks.
Well, and then it fixes those rocks.
Yeah.
I will say on a second watch, I liked it more. It grew on me on a second watch, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jess says no one can see it in the books. Okay, yeah.
Egwene has already escaped an Adam on her own. No, she doesn't escape the Adam.
No, in the show she does.
She kills.
She breaks through the power of the Adam enough that she puts the other Adam on her.
Yeah, because she's able to be like, it's not a weapon. As long as she can justify in her head that it's not a weapon.
That's show bullshit that I don't buy. I hate that. That is my least favorite moment in season 2. And it takes so much from Nynaeve. Like, it rips so much from Nynaeve.
Okay.
To not have the moment where Nynaeve is the one who figures out how to undo the collars. Because she feels... Nynaeve and Elaine losing the moment of saving Egwene so that Egwene can be a girl boss and save herself is really rough to me. It's a really rough choice.
I mean, I honestly think that episode 8 and episode 16 are the 2 weakest episodes in the entire show, which are the 2 finales.
Yeah. Samantha A is my second least favorite moment from season 2, is their least favorite moment, which is Moraine killing the Sancho with the one power, 100%. The show's version of like, the show being like, we can accuse you of being a dark friend and that lets us use the power, completely invalidates the oaths. And the show has made it so wishy-washy that like, because even Aleda's like, we accuse you of being a dark friend, and therefore you are, and we can use the power on you, is so weak to me. And like Leanne being like, over my dead body, and then going to use the one power against Aleda, and then them using the one power on her, I'm like, you guys, this isn't how this works. Like, you guys can't fight each other like this.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really weak.
Yeah.
I think the structure of those scenes isn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still makes absolutely no sense to me why people are cheering for the dragon at the end of season 2. I think it's such a weird moment.
DK
kind of like ruins it.
DK Moon says Aleda beat Egwene with the power, claiming she believed Egwene was a dark friend. DK Moon, go back and watch Book Club. I promise you, I'm being consistent. In Book Club was like, this is dumb. Like the way in which the one power, the way in which these oaths are being used in the books is it's look. I think one of the weird arguments people are like, well, yeah, but it's also bad in the books, so they're just being consistent. I'm like, well, but those are the things I want you to change.
Yeah.
Don't do the bad shit that the books did.
Yeah.
Do the good shit that the books did,
Yeah.
and maybe clean up some of the stuff that even like 3 years ago I was like, this makes no sense.
Do we have any more Discord questions?
No, we're going on Discord.
Oh, great. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we got to all those.
Rainbow Sprinkle says, what do you think will happen with Matt Memories? What do you think is going to happen? We've kind of said that they've kind of fucked it up, but what do you think their plan is? It's hard, because what could it be, right?
What could you do?
Because here's the problem, right? We've now had 3 magical moments for Matt that have changed his brain. Or no, 4. He was healed of the dagger.
Yeah.
He blew the horn.
First of all, no, he held the dagger. Like, he used the dagger.
Sure, but even in the books, it doesn't affect his memories until he's healed.
His memories, no, but it affects his brain.
No, but
he becomes a worse person.
I'm specifically talking about 4 moments that his memories have changed.
Okay.
In the show.
Okay.
When he's healed of the dagger, when he drinks the tea,
yeah,
when he blows the horn of Valir, and when he interacts with the Aelfin. All 4 of those things change him in the show. And now we're at the point that is the first change from the books. Right? So in the books, the first time Matt's memories change is when the dagger is pulled out of him, and he wakes up, and with the dagger being dragged out of him, so are some of his memories, and he's missing. He just has holes, right?
Okay.
That is the point we're at after the 4th memory change in the show. And so the problem is that he gets the Aelfin fill the holes in his memories, right? And that's the last real big memory change that you get in the books.
Yeah.
Which is the second one.
But they just give him extra memories.
Well, no, they fill the holes with other memories. But the idea is that...
No, I thought he got all of his memories back. Like, he asked for his memories back, and so they give him his memories and his past life memories.
No, he doesn't get all of his memories back. They fill the holes in his memories with the memories of past lives.
Really?
Yeah. Right? And so he is just filled with memory. He's filled with all of these memories after that point. Yeah. The problem is now we've done 4 versions, and now we're back to the first version of the book. Yeah. But we can't have I really struggle to see how the show moves into another magical memory moment.
I don't know. I genuinely, it is a valid question, and I genuinely do not know how to answer this. I have no idea what they do.
I guess there's a Terangriel. I guess there's something, right? But it seems really
people are saying he goes through another door, but again.
But he does do that in the books. He goes through 2 doors. No. This is the second door he goes through.
So you think they're gonna do the first door second?
Yes. But that door's in the White Tower?
Yeah, I don't know where this door is gonna be unless he goes to Ruidian. I don't know. Do you think Loyal is dead?
Yeah. Yeah, because apparently it's too expensive to have Loyal on the show. So whatever. Yeah. We'll just keep cutting people.
Fucking tragic. Genuinely, when it happened, I was like, he's not dead. He just fell to a different platform. Blah blah blah.
Here's the thing, y'all. I understand that people are like, well, they have to. There's too many people in the books. They have to cut things. But we're not even complaining about the people that are just cut without ever being seen. Literally, yeah. Agianin, Bail Doman. Those characters are important later. Those characters do things in the books.
The stump is important. The Ogiers.
Well, no, but the Ogier also weren't in the scenes in the Age of Legends. So I just think the Ogier are done. I think the show is going to look less and less like a fantasy show as it goes on.
Which it was one of our main praises at the beginning. Yeah. We loved that it felt like fantasy. There were sick designs and creatures, and yeah. I really hate that they are pulling back on that.
I mean, they didn't with the Aelfin, right? So, maybe we'll get more, but, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not... Yeah, sure, yeah.
Joshua says the show is getting too big. We had to make it smaller. I know, but, the show is going to get bigger. So, you can't... you can't just keep gutting things.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't
It's gonna be a problem. They're gonna have problems later on because of it.
I just don't really see how Matt gets to Tarvalon to go through another door. So I guess they're gonna put another door somewhere else.
Or he's just gonna not have memories, which is, I guess, fine. I don't know.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
His Matt's plotline has sucked the whole show.
They're like, we're gonna take away his memories of his previous plotline so that we can just start from scratch.
Donal Finn is incredible. I want to be really clear. Like, I think Donal Finn is perfect casting as Matt.
Yeah.
I think that he's crushing it, and I feel bad for him and Min because they are routinely asked to be comedic relief and have their stories kind of fucked with the most so that they're a little bit funny. And I think that I think it's genuinely unfortunate what's happened with both Matt and Min. I don't really like their plots, even though I like both of the actors a lot.
Yeah. I think Tyr does make sense because I think that Matt I genuinely think Kulin is going to Tyr. So I think Matt is also going to Tyr, and so I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but Matt won't have the band. Like, Matt, here's the thing. Matt's not going to have the band in the show.
No, I think he's going to get it.
No, they're not. There's no way they're going to spend money on it. They're not going to have more characters.
Arzu, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships.
Arzu, thank you.
Thank you.
That's so sweet.
Gonna take that. We're going to go get some ramen.
Here's the thing. I think we either get the band or we get the Ashaman, but we don't get both.
Well, it has to be the Ashaman then.
But then Matt just doesn't get the band. You know what I mean? Like, I just, based on the way this show is allergic to introducing...
Thank you, Arzu.
The way the show is allergic to introducing characters from the books to do book stuff, I don't see us getting the band. I don't think it happens.
No.
You know who else I think is cut? Oliver. You think this show's gonna introduce a kid?
No.
That's gonna... They're filming an episode every a season every 2 years.
Yeah, no, they can't.
You think they're gonna introduce a kid that's gonna start at 9 and end at 20?
No,
like,
there's no way. No, there's no way.
I think Brigitte's cut. I think that Oliver's cut. I think that
Perrin chasing the Shido around the mountains after Fael is getting cut. It doesn't serve a purpose. There's literally no point.
Oh yeah, I think the Shido just die.
Yeah, at Tyr.
But then you cut like all the weird Savannah stuff.
Fine. Good.
But then you have to find another way to bring in the Town of the Dead, because fuck, that is some of Robert Jordan's coolest shit.
Oh my god, if they get rid of that, I will riot.
Here's the thing, I don't think we're gonna get there. I'm not gonna lie. As we're talking about this, like about where the show goes from here, I don't think we're getting a season 4, honestly. Like, I really honestly don't. And I will be happy if we do. Like, honestly, I think I like season 3 enough that, like, I want more. I want to see... I'm, if anything, just curious about what their idea could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What
like,
were they thinking?
What do you do with Matt? What do you do with Min?
Yeah.
What does Min fall in love with Rand? Like, show Min falling in love with Rand is gonna feel so weird.
Yeah.
Do Aviendha and Elaine just have a relationship without Rand?
I guess. That way Rand can't abandon Elaine's children.
But, like, you know, like, there's so much that they're doing that I'm like, I don't know how...
That's it. I'm gonna go reread. I'm so sorry.
I don't know how Rand and Elaine... Like, I guess they go to Tyr and they spend time in Tyr together, right? Like, that's gotta be to start the Rand and Elaine relationship. Aviendha's already set up that she's down with a poly thing, so, like, that works.
Yeah.
So like, that works. I just don't know how you bring Min into it.
No idea.
Oh, I guess she'll be in Tyr.
Yeah.
Because they'll all be together.
But they don't even know. Yeah.
Honestly, if the beginning of the next season is the Siege of Tyr, right? Say you just cut to season 4 starts with the Siege of Tyr, and then most of season 4 is Rand and Elaine and them all, like, in Tyr building up relationships, with Rand getting kidnapped in episode 6, leading to Dumai's Wells. There's a way that might work, but you would have to start with the fight at the walls of Tyr in order to have the rest of the season to do everything else.
Okay, but do you really need anything between this moment and between Tyr? Because I don't
for logic, yes, but for, like, the show's version of logic, no, right?
That's what I mean. I think that absolutely episode 1 can start with Tyr. It can be a big battle. It can have some really cool moments. That way you don't have to keep the Couladin actor forever. And, like, there's nothing there. You kind of just, you get rid of him. And then you can have Rand set up the Black Tower. Like, use Tyr as a base of operations to start setting up the Black Tower, then get captured, go to Dumai's Wells, then the Black Tower comes in and saves the day. I think that is a structure for a season 4 that does make sense.
I think that Elaine...
Enough sense.
I think... Here's my pitch for what season 4 is going to be. Episode 1, the Siege of Tyr. Episode 1 ends with Matt killing Couladin.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is the ongoing fight inside of Tyr that ends with Rand raising Kalendor above his head. Episodes 3 and 4, Rand starts to play political games. And
start the Black Tower because he realizes he's bad at politics.
And starts the Black Tower. Meets Mazrim Taim, shows up and like bends the knee to Rand a little bit. It's snarky, but then episode 5, 6, Elaine leaves. Rand spends episode 3 and 4 doing political stuff with Elaine.
Elaine teaches him.
They fall in love with each other a little bit.
Yes.
She dips to go fight Robin.
Yeah.
The season then splits. The second half of the season is Rand gets kidnapped for Dumai's Wells and Perrin has to go save him. And Elaine takes Matt, Nynaeve, Egwene, and like some of those people to fight Robin and save her mom. Rand doesn't kill Robin. Rand fights Dumai's Wells. And Elaine kills Robin. And instead of giving Rand the win over Robin, Elaine gets to kill the man that raped her mom.
Yeah, okay.
And then so the end of season 4 is Dumai's Wells against the Raven fight. And at the end of season 4, the girls find their way to Saladar.
Yeah.
And they start like that plot line.
Yeah, oh yeah, I could see that.
After leaving a destroyed Andor, maybe?
Yeah. And then I think...
Abu Dar is definitely cut.
Do you think that the kin, are cut?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, that's so many characters. If this show can't find room for Loyal...
There's only 7 Aes Sedai, so
like... If this show can't find room for Loyal, they're not going to bring in 400 women who can channel. Like,
yeah. The only issue I see with that is that we need to establish Saladar somewhere in that season.
Well, no. So that's what Varen is doing.
But Egwene needs to be there.
She doesn't establish it. She comes in later. Saladar is already established when Egwene shows up.
Okay. But the chat says you forgot about the main character, Moiraine. So what is Moiraine doing during all of this?
But this is the problem, right? Like,
I think you could parallel...
How do you get to Dumai's Wells without Moiraine being dead?
Yeah. I think, like Blind and Fool, that you could actually parallel Saladar and the Black Tower being... conglomerated at the same time. Like, you got the men coming together and the women coming together, and you can use that as a fun storytelling device, potentially.
Nicodemus says, when does Alana bond Rand?
I don't think she does.
She does. When Perrin shows up at Tyr with the Two Rivers Army.
I don't think she does. I think if they have another woman of color become like...
No, she does. I think they keep that, and they do it when Perrin shows up.
I don't think they do it.
Yeah.
I'm betting you. $100.
Here's how I think it's gonna go down. Episode 1, alongside the Tyr stuff, is the trial of Perrin Ibarra. So that Perrin meets Mazrim Taim on the road, and Perrin is the one that brings Mazrim Taim to Rand with Alana, not knowing he's Mazrim Taim. Right? Okay. Mazrim Taim is fleeing from the Reds and hides out among Perrin's army. Okay. They get down to Tyr together, and Alana bonding Rand against his will pushes Rand towards Mazrim Taim and towards the creation of the Black Tower. And Alana bonding Rand against his will breaks Rand's trust with Moiraine in a way.
How would that break his trust with Moiraine?
Because Moiraine trusts Alana. And it
Rand doesn't even know that. Rand has not been present for any scene that Alana and Moiraine have been in together.
Sure, but I think that you will have Moiraine welcome Alana to Tyr. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Like, Moiraine brings Alana into the scene. But, yeah, having Alana bond Rand while Moiraine's still alive is crazy.
I think Alana goes to Varen.
Moiraine should have died. They should, like, keeping Moraine alive at the end of this season was such a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be so hard to do so much with her present moving forward.
Yeah. Unless she just sits on the sidelines the whole time, which doesn't make sense. Doesn't have that connective tissue. It goes for moments. Yeah, which is the problem generally.
I know, but like, it's crazy that you just can say that casually about a TV show where they're like, they don't try and explain why things happen on the show, and the audience is like, yeah, we know. It's still, there's great moments though.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Here's the thing.
wild that is a true statement.
I think that Rand being captured and put in the box is enough to drive him to not trust the Aes Sedai and start to go mad. I don't think you also need the bond. I don't think you need it.
I agree.
I don't think they're doing it.
I'm just saying that in order for Rand, I think that Rand trusting a male channeler, given the way that he left Logain, will be tough. So I think that pushing Rand towards Master
Logain were fine.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
No. He wanted Logain to teach him, and Logain ended up screaming at him as he like ran away. The final scene between Rand and Logain was not one of trust.
Well, yeah, Logain's a little
I think that Rand getting pushed, the end of season 3, Rand getting pushed towards Mazrim Taim will be because Alana bonds him. I see the show doing that.
I hope not.
I hope not too, because I think it's also kind of a moment that, honestly, even in the books, it doesn't really do enough. Weirdly, like, they didn't...
That's what I mean.
It doesn't accomplish enough.
It only allows them to, like, follow him because Alana knows where he is. But they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe they'll just have Moraine bond Rand for some stupid fucking reason just to keep her relevant.
Arzu says, I think you cold open with Moraine using the weave she learned from Lanfear traveling to the White Tower and the Aelfin to find out about her own death and she disappears. I mean, then we're just repeating beats again. I do think, because Asmodean, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, Asmodean teaches Rand how to travel, right? Asmodean's the one that gives him the weave. Because I think that Moraine's, having seen Lanfear travel, I think that they'll be able to travel next season. Mm-hmm. But like Blindfold, if Moraine's not going to survive for long in season 4, why keep her? Why not kill her and keep Swan alive?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm pretty sure Asmodean teaches him that. Yeah. So I think that you don't need Asmodean to teach him, because I think that... although, how can she... And this gets into the problem of the showing, right?
Moraine, he gives him skimming, yes, but the general idea of being able to travel.
Moraine can't teach Rand how to weave something, because he can't see it.
No, but the show wants that both ways, too.
Pie Pepper Guy, igloo sex isn't happening. That scene's definitely cut.
Igloo sex scene? Yeah, it's not happening. Sorry, guys. Although I think it is a really fun way to like establish the Rockin'. I don't think
no, Light Blinded Fool corrects us here. Asmodean didn't teach him traveling. He learned a bit from Ishii in book 3 and then did skimming, and then he learned more from Robin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Ishii's not strong enough. Asmo's not strong enough to weave a gateway. Right.
Right, because he kind of sucks a little
Tenuous Fuzzball says Sophie Okonedo only signed on for 3 seasons. Yeah, why?
Why?
That's bad show running.
Yeah. That character is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and this is where I leave it at Rafe's feet, right? Like, I think that Rafe has done a bad job at show running the show. I think that he has communicated with the audience poorly in several interviews that have led to miscommunications with the audience that I think have not helped. I think that he has not handled... I think that the sign of a really good showrunner is someone who adapts to difficult situations, and Rafe buckles under pressure. I think that the COVID excuses, I think that the, like, Barney Harris leaving the show excuses, I think that he is not a showrunner that has proven that he handles difficult situations very well.
Yeah.
I think that he has allowed contract disputes to be the reason why there are problems. Mm-hmm. I think that the scheduling of the show has been the reason why the show has problems. I think that there are so many outside of the narrative of the show reasons why the show is struggling. And those things come down to Rafe.
Yeah.
That is the showrunner's job, to figure that shit out. And he has not shown me through the way that he has... I need to get rid of that timer. He has not shown me, at least, and maybe this is slightly unfair, but I don't think it is. He has not given me faith that he is a showrunner that has the ability to adapt something this large.
Yeah.
Because of the way that he has handled things as a showrunner. I think that a lot of the ways in which the audience excuse problems on the show are actually just things that Rafe should have solved.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of people in the Wheel of Time fandom who give the show so much leeway by excusing things that he should have done better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Gordon Chen, thank you so much for that super chat.
Thank you, Gordon.
That's gonna be ramen. That's gonna be ramen for dinner.
You know it's gonna be ramen. I want soup.
God, I love Japan, guys. If they're going to keep Moraine, I want them to get rid of or reduce the role of Cad Swain.
I'd be fine with that.
That's fine. I think that's absolutely... They've mentioned her in the show once before, but I really don't think that matters.
And honestly, I honestly think they cut all the Tower of Genji stuff.
Yeah, we don't need it, really. Lanfear's Boat, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. I thought Avienda traveled from the igloo.
She does instinctually, but she doesn't know how she did it.
She doesn't know how she does it, so if Moraine just knows how to do it now because Lanfear did it in front of her, then you don't need to do any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If there's any more questions, if there's anything that we didn't touch on that you want us to touch on, now is the time.
Final questions. Drop them.
Final questions. If you have any questions.
This went longer than I thought it was going to, but what a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining. This has been great, honestly.
This has been a lot of fun. If you have any questions about Japan, we can kind of wind down and just do some casual chit chat here at the end. Thank you so much for all the super chats. It's going straight towards ramen. I promise you right now. But this has been really fun. Thank you for chatting with us about this, because it's really nice to have people who can have this back and forth and ask questions and clarifications. Have you gone to Kyoto yet? Yes, Kyoto was actually our favorite. We went there last minute by happenstance, and it has been our favorite part of the trip so far, so we might go back. Fucking love it there.
Are we at Celebration? It's over.
Celebration was over.
Yeah,
it's Sunday
Monday
for
morning.
you guys. It's Monday morning for us.
Celebration was amazing. It was so fun. Can't wait for Los Angeles.
If they have a season 4, would you be excited to do reactions, or would it feel more like a chore?
Ooh,
we're not sure if we're going to be...
It depends on trailers.
It depends on trailers, and also we're not sure if we're going to be doing a lot of reactions in 2 years. Because it's going to be 2 years from now. And, there's other content that we want to make. We are launching a new thing when we get back home. Yeah. So that's going to take up some more time, and so reactions might wind down. And in 2 years, who fucking knows?
Should we be honest with the audience right now? How honest do you want to be right now?
Be honest?
How honest do you want to be right now?
I think we're always very honest. I think we're too honest a lot of the time.
I think that we've spent the last 5 years doing a lot of
musical.
Commenting. It's...
I mean, I like it. I like the music.
Yeah, there's parts of it. No, I like it too. I'm kidding. We spent 5 years commenting on other people's stuff a lot. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get into musical theater to be a critic. I didn't spend 20 years in the industry to criticize. And I enjoy it, and I enjoy reacting more than I probably should. But we both want to make stuff. We want to be producers of new things and not just culture critics. And I do think that there's a chance that 2 years from now we're not reacting anymore because we are making things. There's a movie I'm writing that I want to produce.
There are books that you're writing.
There's a book that I'm writing. There's a novella I'm writing for charity.
We're working on a new podcast for you guys.
And so I think that we want to do more TTRPG stuff. We want to tell more stories. And I think
I had a lot of fun DMing Stardew. So
I think that we don't get a lot of views on our reactions compared to other reaction channels. And our views have been going down over time. There was a point where we were getting 50,000 views a video before the strike. And now 10,000 views is pretty good for us. And I think that the reality is that we're not the kind of creators the general audience wants for reactions. People want people who are more hype builders. And that I'm not interested in hype building. Mm-hmm. And... But
also, there's an element of this that of this that we also love, and I think that even if we're not doing reacting anymore, we've had a lot of fun being like, hey, this movie dropped on Thursday, Monday, we're gonna do a live stream.
Yeah.
And we still like talk about those things, but in a way that's not like reacting all the time and kind of waiting for things to drop, because doing shows and stuff like that is a lot week to week, especially if you're doing multiple shows. Like this month we have Andor, we have The Last of Us, we have The Wheel of Time, and Daredevil. Like, it's been a lot when we're trying to take a vacation, and so I don't think that we're gonna like 100% get away from talking about things that we enjoy.
I think I could see us, I think I could see us going more towards a live model where we do more live spoiler chats.
Yeah, because these have been really fun.
And they're more of a conversation.
Exactly.
And I think that, I think that I want to create stuff that brings people joy. And I don't know that as a reactor I do that as much as I would like to. I'm going to finish One Piece. I don't think I'll ever stop fully reacting because I'm going to finish One Piece. Mm-hmm. So I might be reacting for like 10 more years. But I think Nerdy Nightly might veer more towards, I don't know.
More live streams.
Yeah, more live streams, honestly. More content. We want to do a lot of like musical. We want to do like musical parodies.
Yeah.
Like we've got some like musical projects that we want to do.
Yeah.
So we want to do like more creative content, and I think that like there will still be reactions. I don't think we're ever going to completely stop doing reactions.
Yeah.
I don't. I think that like we're still going to do the Patreon pick of the month. I just think that we're not going to react to everything.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's making me like things less.
Yeah. Funny asked if you see yourself still doing book club in 2 years.
Yes.
And yes. We love
I see myself doing book club in 20 years.
Yeah. The live stream, the back and forth, the conversation, and the community, that's what we love about this. And book club is really the heart of that. And I think that it really did start with the gaming streams. Obviously, that's what we did first. And
we want to go
miss those.
live more. Yeah.
We want to go live more. We want to do more video game stuff and just lean into more candid and conversation and that kind of vibe. Because I don't think that reactions are going anywhere for us because we have such a divisive. People have varying opinions on how we react to things.
Yeah.
I guess is the right way to say that.
And I agree with them.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I do agree with them, right?
Yeah. Someone asked if we had a high-low for this. Oh, before we get to that, Light Blindful, thank you so much for that super chat. These chats are a lot of fun. How's your vacation going so far when you don't have to do reactions as much as you want to share?
Well, we've done so many. We've actually done a lot of reactions since we've been here because we did the Wheel of Time finale. We did Daredevil. We did 2 episodes of Wheel of Time, 2 episodes of Daredevil. We've done 2 trailers.
Last of Us today.
We're going to watch the first 2 episodes of Last of Us today.
Yeah. So we have still been reacting because like there's shows that we really like and we want to watch. But so far, honestly, the vacation has been incredible. I've never been to Japan. This is my first time here. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't stop eating.
Galbo!
There are like 27 snacks in arm's reach of me at the moment. It's been incredible. Again, Kyoto I think has been my favorite so far.
Yeah.
I am in love with this country, and I know, I'm sure everybody says that. I'm fucking foreigner who only gets to see like the highlights. But I really am thoroughly enjoying myself. And my body is tired because we've been getting like 20,000 steps minimum a day. But I am finding a lot of joy in this trip. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to change when we get back, y'all. But we're going to be live more, and I think that's going to be really exciting. We have some fun plans. May 8th, we have a live that is a sponsored live. I don't know that. I mean, the contract signed, so we could actually tell you, but
it'll be a fun surprise. We'll
May 8th, we're going to have a big live promoting a new game. That we're very excited.
Like genuinely, it looks so fucking cool. So more of that kind of content.
And then book club comes back on the 15th.
No. It's like the
9th.
Yeah, something like that.
Are we doing the first? I thought we were gonna do the second Friday so we could build the new set.
Yeah, that is the second Friday. We get back on the 3rd. Okay, the 9th or the 16th.
I think we come back on the 16th with our new set.
It's so far.
I know, but we want to build. So here's the thing: we want to build a new set for book club.
Yeah, we're changing some things.
We want to have separate mics. We want to so the goal for book club when we get back is to build a new set, so we can have better shorts for book club.
Better shorts, better audio quality.
So we're gonna have separate mics, so that just that it sounds better.
Yeah. Rainbow Sprinkles, thank you for that super chat. Do you guys think Perrin is going to be captured for 3 seasons like Fight? No. No, I think that Perrin's going to have his trial, that they're going to splice that from the end of the series and throw it here so that we don't have to deal with the White Cloaks anymore. I think that they're kind of a problem for the show at the moment. They don't really add anything to it.
Which, like, then what happens to Galad, but, like...
I don't know how they figure out, but I do think that Perrin's trial happens next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We fly back on May 3rd, Courtney Reed.
Yes.
So we have 2 more weeks here. We're gonna go down to Hiroshima and see Peace Park.
Yeah.
Just because I think that everyone on Earth should at some point. I think that it will change. It changes you seeing it. And I can't wait to show it to you and to my family, who are now in Japan. So we're gonna hang out with my family, my parents, my sister, my brother, and their wives. So we're gonna go around Japan a little bit with my folks and Hiroshima, and then we're gonna finally show you Tokyo. You haven't really seen Tokyo much.
I have only seen Shibuya Crossing, and that's kind of all of Tokyo that I've seen so far because we've been bopping around. So yeah, we're gonna spend a good chunk of time in Tokyo. If you have any recommendations, feel free to drop those in the Discord. Gordon Chen.
Thank you for 5 gifted subs. Appreciate you.
That means a lot. Thank you so much.
A reminder, y'all, there will never be a book club on this channel again. So if you want book club, you got to go to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel.
Yes. Book club will be on its own channel because YouTube doesn't like when you cross the streams.
Yeah. And so this is going to be pop culture, gaming, movies, and TV.
Yes.
And that is going to be book club. Book club will be its own channel. So go follow the channel for book club. On top of that, before we do high-low of the season, we are... That's it. Actually, we said May 8th. Book club will return May 16th.
Yeah, new show launching. So keep an eye on that for the summer.
We might do like a one-off book club on May 9th. We had talked about doing... We talked about doing something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but you wanted to put up the new set. No, we talked about doing Fourth Wing while we were like here as like a review chat. But we haven't read it yet.
We'll figure it out. If you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm goddess is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is for season 3. Pick a woman.
Pick a woman?
Pick a woman.
Nynaeve. She got rid of her block.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Aviana didn't do anything this season.
Nope, not a single
Except
thing.
get fire spears.
Yeah.
She ran into Ruidian, and that changed her not at all.
She had a cool fight with Lan. Kind of.
Wow, yeah. It just hit me how little Avienda did this season.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
She has so few scenes with Rand. So let's do high-low and get out of here. Clarus, what is your high for season 3 of The Wheel of Time?
My high is Ruidian. I think that is undeniably the peak of this show.
Yeah.
It is the closest they've skewed to the books, which I think helps. But that's not why I love it.
Yeah.
The visuals of it, the impact of it, the acting of it, every choice that they made in episode 4, the Ruidian stuff was genuinely peak to me, and I am so incredibly grateful that it went the way that it did.
Yeah.
The Hills of Tenchi Goat was also pretty great. What is your low?
The foundation of it.
Sure, yeah.
I genuinely, I think that
so
much of what is on the foundation of this season is so good. Genuinely so good. It's so much better than the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, but those building blocks are a little shaky.
I do think the foundation of this show is cracked. And that's why I'm down for season 4 because I still enjoy the scenes. It is, I've seen almost every episode. No, I've seen every episode of season 2 twice.
Yeah.
I would watch them a 3rd time. I don't think they're amazing, but there's great stuff in them. And so I just think that it is it's a beautiful piece of art on a bad canvas.
Yeah, I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
But my low is definitely, like we talked about, the like connective tissue and how everything weaves together.
Yeah.
I think is like
Yeah.
is a little bit too loosey goosey for me.
Yeah.
And then several of the choices they made in the finale.
Yeah.
I genuinely I'm like, I don't know what we're thinking, but what is your high?
A similar. I'm not going to pick a moment. I'm similar to the foundation thing. My high is that there were moments this season where I genuinely like felt like the show was giving me what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
People in the finale were like, "Wow, you just hate everything about the show," and that's not true. Like, if you actually watch the reactions all season, episodes 2 through 5, we were very positive on.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was like, "Oh shit! If it keeps going like this," but the thing is, there was that in season 2 as well.
But they weren't
6 and 7.
the same highs.
No, and not nearly as high, not nearly as well filmed. Like but like
I think it was 5 and 6.
my high of my high of this season. Oh yeah, because 7 is all the dumb Swan ran shit.
Yeah.
Which is like fucking what a waste of time now that they met. If Swan's just dead, the Swan Rand stuff is in season 2 is so fucking pointless. They've wasted so much time on the like Moraine's family plotline in season 2 is so much wasted time. But genuinely, like the time in this season where I felt like I was having a great time, in like episodes 2 through 4 were so good.
Yeah.
But then I don't like. It's so tough because then like I think about it and I'm like,
you're supposed to be doing the high.
No, I know. But no, I genuinely mean that. There was a lot in this season that made me feel like I was riding high. Yeah. And if they just managed to be consistent with that, man, like I feel like they would really have something special and almost have guaranteed themselves a season 4. But when even people like us, because like you look, like there's like, people who are gonna love the show, right? But when people like us who will be into the show when it's good get lost every season at the end by stuff,
your finale's gotta hit home. You know?
You gotta nail it. And I think that that's the thing that they've struggled with. The Battle of Two Rivers I should be screaming from the rooftops about it, and it was fine. You know what I mean? And like
pretty good. Parts of it were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ending of it sucks though. Like, and the show struggles so much with endings.
Yes.
And I don't know, man. I don't know. Part of me would love for it to not get a season 4 just so that I can put it in my rear view. But like 70% of me really hopes it does get it because I think that like there is so much good work going on in it. But I also find it very stressful to like have this show that I want to love as much as I want to love this one let me down as much as this one does. So it's a struggle at times, but you know, we do what we do.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. This is over 2 hours, which I didn't expect. Thank you so much. So much for joining us on this adventure. Last of Us 2 begins hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna be recording.
Depending on how for patrons, it'll be up in a few hours, and then for
the edits, it depends on when our editor can get them done, and so we're not. It'll go up when it goes up.
And Andor this week, hopefully, depending on our internet at our next hotel. 3 episodes of Andor, and then we're off to the races on those 2 shows. That'll be all we react to for a while. I know there's new Doctor Who episodes coming, but we're not going to react to it while we're in Japan. If it gets really good reviews, we might react to it when we get back to Toronto. We don't know yet.
We're trying to be on vacation.
Yeah, which is why we're doing a 2.5 hour live stream this morning.
But this is fun.
I know.
Like this.
No, and this is the best. Like honestly, like because this is what feels like book club, and I think that this is what we want to do more of: is lean more into lives and more conversational stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to us just talking to each other.
Yeah.
I think we want to talk to you guys more than each other, even though I love talking to you.
We talk to each other all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like we have that privilege in our lives already.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, mods. Arzu, thank you for waking up and doing this in the middle of the night. You didn't have to, but we appreciate you. Bye.
Bye, guys. Oh.